There? You don't know anything at all about us!
You know, talking down to people isn't very nice.
It would have been better if we'd done this after you had a chance to get to know us a little more.
Greetings, Professor. Nothing to report. I'm Harry Potter.
The police won't be able to handle him, but it should be easy for me.
Celica, don't do this!
I'm not the guy she needs right now. What do you want me to do next, Orga?
Hand over the ring.
Don't you worry, Professor. I'll get it back.
Are you willing to join me?
Can't. I've got to go pump some iron.
Brace!
Did you find some more strays?
Don't worry, I'll protect you. Come on, let's go. And all those voices still won't go away!
Greetings, professors! Nothing to report. How's it going on this lovely Saturday at noon o'clock? Kyle scaring me twice in a row before actually streaming. I'm sorry, Carson121. How you guys doing out there in chatland? Hello, hello, glory to mankind, yes. Heyo, hello. Hi. So, last week, we finished the final boss in Drakengard 3. You guys were right, and I was wrong. For those of you who missed it, it was excruciating, but it was a lot of fun. In spite of that, I am not going to be streaming super long today because I foolishly thought that I would finish Drakengard 3 in its entirety last week, because I still have a little bit of DLC to get through, but that final boss took me so long last week, so, last week Kyle lost a few years of his life, yeah, seriously. So, how many more attempts did the music part take? I don't have any idea, Arcanum Symphonis. It took several. I think I got to the final note 3 times before passing, maybe 4 times before passing it. But it took me many attempts to get to the final note, so I don't know. Anyway, so that means that today I have a little bit more Drakengard 3 to get through, because I went through and played through all of the DLC prologues for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Back, I think I was still in the middle of Route B, Branch B when I did that. But I did not get to Zero's prologue yet because I was told that there would be spoilers in there that I didn't want to see before I got to them in the main story. So I've still got a little bit more to get through, which is Zero's prologue. Once I'm done with that, I'll probably move over to the Hacker Clan futon to do a little Q&A with you guys. It's been a little while since I've sat on that couch while streaming. So, well, actually, that's not true, because Caitlin and I did a special episode of The Board and Barrel last week, where we were sitting on the futon. It wasn't the same, though, because you couldn't see the backdrop and stuff. We had a green screen up and stuff like that. So, you guys will see a little bit of the room again, a little bit, and that'll be fun. But first off, we got to get to some more Drakengard 3, right? Hold on, I'm looking at the chat. Should we tell him what upgrading all weapons does? What does it do, Billy Cool? What are you taunting me with? Let's see, and more detective games, please. Oh, thanks, Nico Draco. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Okay. Let's go ahead and jump right into this. Yeah? I don't know if I have any soapboxing stances to take with you guys. I mean, I do, but it's the same shit you've heard me preach about before, so I'll save it today. All right. Drakengard 3 for the first time, for the last time. Except it's not for the first time at all. So much soap, says James. Hi, James. How's it going? How long would your Drakengard break be? I don't know. I still haven't really decided what I'm gonna be playing next week. I'm leaning towards going back to God Eater 3, since I started that one forever ago with just one single stream. I'd like to tackle that one at some point. Now seems like as good a time as any. I'm not really sure. So, let's do our DLC here. Drakengard 2, something that doesn't exist. Nice. All right. Zero's chapter. Buy items. What? Hope that doesn't happen again. Woo! All right. Oh yeah. Okay. Right. I forgot you can't pick weapons in the prologues. You'll need to pull up the wiki to read the extra story bits unless you want to grind to level 10. Yeah, I did that with the other 5 sisters as well. Really cool. Cause yeah, there's no reason to sit here and grind. Sorry, I'm not gonna do it.
Once upon a time, many moons ago, there was an intoner who was infected by a flower. This intoner had 5 younger sisters. Each of them cursed as well. Fearful of the flower's immense force, the intoner began searching for a dragon strong enough to kill every last intoner.
Sorry about that, True in the Blue. I saw you trying to do some pod mini games, and they were still set to the Discord. Oh, okay, all right.
That's Zero, she's here! Don't let her escape. Finish her here.
I was a refugee who had fled to the land of seas. At the same time, I was in constant pursuit of the flower. Specifically, the 5 incarnations of the flower that had split off from me. My sisters. I had to hunt them down.
I don't have a flower in my eye yet.
And I didn't have much time left.
Don't give up! We're just getting started! What are we even fighting for? That girl, she's so strong! But if we retreat, what will our leader say? There's no sense in staying here and getting pummeled! I know that, but you heard Lady Cerulea's order!
Boom! Time to undo rhythm and get used to fight. Yeah, seriously. Get used to fighting instead.
Keep pushing! Are you insane?
Ow. Oh, he kept swinging. Hiya! Controller, why? Just gonna run into the wall for a little bit.
Keep your head forward!
Stop being all bloody, Kyle. Thanks, Dustin. Okay. I will.
To hell with this woman and our lady. Amen.
Back off or die.
You don't have to just blindly follow whatever Lady Cerulia says.
You mean it's not true about these guys?
There, I stopped being all bloody. You happy, Dustin? We have definitely fought on this map many times before. Zero ate all the jam on her clothes.
Little bastards. Your faces make me want to puke.
But you can't even see our faces.
Why am I so goddamn out of shape?
Are we just cannon fodder?
Yes. Okay, okay.
You losers are way too tough for grunts, you know that? Is that
Michael?
a dragon?
Oh,
You humans always attack creatures as they peacefully soar through the sky? My name is Michael. If you enjoy killing each other as much as you seem to, perhaps you'd allow me to join in the fun.
they're already dead. Oh wait, there's more. Where are they? Oh, I have to summon him first, okay.
You, the girl in white, who are you? You think to give me orders? Me, an 8,000-year-old dragon? Witness the power of my fire as I turn you all.
You gonna hit me too?
God damn it! What are you doing?
So I may smite you. I can't smite you unless you stop moving.
Not gonna happen, dumbass!
Woohoo!
We're helpless against the dragon.
Woo!
That dragon's fighting for the girl? Is she some kind of dragon tamer? Impossible! You can't just control a dragon!
They're all dead. You gonna keep spitting fire at me? Maybe don't summon dragons next time, Kyle. The game wouldn't let me not summon him.
I can't deal with this shit anymore.
Halt! You cannot escape.
I can though. I can and I will.
Man, what a prick. But I could really make use of that strength.
Oh, one got me. Your dragon tamer rank is too low. Oh, okay, I see. Is there a bow in my hair that wasn't there before?
I was short on time, see? I had to finish before the flower stole what little remained of me. I couldn't afford to make another mistake.
Flower's not there
I
though.
had to kill my sisters, and then I had to destroy the flower for good.
But the flower's
But
not
in
there.
order to do that, there was one critical item that I absolutely had to procure. The strongest dragon in the world.
Hiya! You must have at least 7 gym badges for this dragon to listen to. Nice. The bow was always there? Okay, I'm just crazy then.
Who the hell is she? It doesn't matter. Just take them out, now!
The hair looks a little bit like a bunny rabbit when you start running. Flower wasn't there until the time skip after the first battle? Okay. Wait, is there stuff down here I should pay attention to? Oh, that's the way I'm supposed to go. But there's a dude up here, too. Whoopsie! Oh, okay. I thought there was a pathway up here. There is not. Just a couple boxes. Whee! Wah! Oops. I probably wanna go back and do this the right way. Or I can't. I am stuck. What? What? Off to a great start today, folks. I can't move. There we go. Alright, I'm back out of that little sticky wicket. Come on! Hold on. Let's see if I can fix this. Eh? Alright. Stupid. Elgato capture cards. Oh, I see I came at a pivotal moment of another Kyle breakdown. Yes, you did, Milkman. You love to see it. Oh, thanks. Thanks, guys. I want to go back and do this platforming. Oh, I could just do this. Duh. This is your... Funny Boy Kaz says, this is my first stream, but I have not been disappointed with the chaos. Good, good. I'm glad to live up to your expectations. Or live down to them, I guess. Have you noticed the difference between Zero's theme song compared with the other intoners' themes? It's much more gentle. This might be weird, but it's easier to understand why. If you listen to the Japanese dub, the voice direction was more gentle, still haughty and nihilistic, but not as abrasive. Okay.
Even if she did, I doubt she'd care.
Hurry, or Lady Cerulean will punish us again!
Don't remind me. Let's go! Is Lady Cerulean aware of our situation? How the hell could she be?
I would like to point out that the English dubs of games and anime and stuff, at least ever since like the, I don't know, the 90s, there was a period of time where Japanese creators did not care about the Western market, so they just kind of sold off their stuff for Americans to do whatever they wanted with it. But since, like, the 90s, like the Dragon Ball Z era, and even probably a little bit before that, they're very hands-on with their localization. So, and especially with video games.
I'm
So,
still alive, you know.
any changes that happen in the translation are made with the creator's blessing.
My crimson flames shall serve as your funeral fire!
It's funeral pyre, you moron.
Damn you! Shut your insolent mouth at once!
Oh, he got me. His aim got a lot better than it was. Ow! So much better than it was. Oh.
Your senseless prattle bores me.
I thought this gate was gonna
Over here,
open.
you dumb flying ox.
Haha! You missed me that time, punk.
Gotta keep attacking! But Lady Cerulia ordered us to... So what? No retreat! Keep fighting!
We can do this! You gotta try!
Are there boxes I can break to get some health over here? Yeah, nice. Alright, come at me. Come at me, fool! That's not my line, that's Max's line. Zero and Michael's banter is kind of cute, yeah. Hello, Kyle. Hope you and Caitlin are both well. Thoroughly enjoyed your portrayal of Iruka in Boruto. Thank you so much. It's always interesting taking over a role that somebody else has been playing for a long time, especially when you're not that familiar with what they did. But I'm glad that people have not been offended by me taking Quentin Flynn's place. He left Los Angeles, and they needed somebody to take over who sounded sort of like him. I don't know that I do, but hopefully it works. At least.
My razor-sharp talons.
Yeah? You can try. What?
Why do you cultivate that flower in your body?
What do you care?
His is an evil laugh.
You still live, girl.
I do.
Damn right I do. Now kill me if you can.
Am I supposed to fight him?
Not yet. You and I have much to discuss.
Aha.
That was my first encounter with Michael. He was stupid and not nearly as strong as he thought.
If Kyle plays Dark Souls, I can leave this world in peace. I have never played a Dark Souls game, to my knowledge. He hates Soulsborne game. I do? What is a Soulsborne game? Dark Souls, Bloodborne. I don't know if I've ever played any of them, honestly. Code Vein. Okay. Games that hate you, yeah. All right. I honestly don't know if I've ever really given any of those types of games a shot. Like, none of the examples you've listed are games that I have played before. Why does it say there's new stuff I can buy? Oh, I bet. Ah, that's why. Haha, my head was covering the word new. Let's read this. January 12th. Sunny. Today I went to the land of animals, and it was great. There was a big cat with fluffy hair, and an elephant with a short trunk, and a horse with a big long neck, and another horse that was covered in stripes. We all played in the mud and chased each other around, and it was a ton of fun. The sun was dumb and hot, and I got tired really fast. Boo. I don't know. Oh, it's Mikhail! I did the wrong voice for that. Mikhail's diary. Let's do that again. Today I went to the land of animals, and it was great! There was a big cat with fluffy hair, and an elephant with a short trunk, and a horse with a big long neck, and another horse that was covered in stripes. We all played in the mud and chased each other around, and it was a ton of fun. But the sun was dumb and hot, and I got tired really fast. Boo! That's better. Wonder how Mikhail writes. Yeah. Mikhail Totes has a MySpace diary. Live journal. Or whatever. What music would he put on his MySpace? Yeah, good question. Probably lots of really poppy, happy, overzealously happy, like, K-pop and stuff.
I see. So Mikhail was Michael in the time before his reincarnation?
Yeah?
And what was Michael called previous to that?
I don't know. Michael never liked talking about his past much.
I see.
Maybe the Mikhail, My Name is Mikhail song, yeah.
Don't you think it's time you started referring to Mikhail by his name?
Someday.
Hey, Z. You've been dealing with dragons and junk for a while, right? Mind answering a couple of questions?
Sure. Ask.
Well, first of all, what do they like to eat?
Don't know.
Well, then, how do they make fire? The stuff they breathe, I mean.
Don't know.
Okay. So, I heard once the dragons don't have good peripheral vision.
Don't know.
What about...
Don't know.
I didn't even ask a goddamn question! I heard a story once about a nasty zombie dragon that exists somewhere in the world. If that's true, if it's true, I kinda wanna see it.
You and me both, buddy.
So, did you and this stupid dragon Michael become best buds right away, or what?
What do you think?
Seems doubtful.
You've been paying attention.
So, did you split up after that, or what?
Hold on, I'm getting to it.
They call her Zero because that's how many thoughts are in her head. How's it going, Golden Witch? Get taken away somewhere.
I once thought it to be pure coincidence that we met. But when I think about it now, I perhaps see the hand of fate at work. Zero was a woman imprisoned within her flower's curse. A flower whose history deeply intertwines with the dragon.
Hey, quit narrating already.
Leave me alone, girl. I have a gravely important tale to impart.
Trust me, no one gives a shit. And where the hell are we going, anyway?
To think I chose to aid one with such uncouth and abhorrent taste and language.
Okay, first of all, enough with the bullshit fancy talk.
What? You dare ridicule the 12,000 years of knowledge imparted to me by...
Huh? Didn't you say 8,000 years yesterday? Quit fudging the numbers.
Ridiculous. I would never stoop to the level of... Still, I suppose I could be convinced to try a piece if it was offered. Even a lofty dragon such as myself gets something of a sweet tooth from time to time.
All right, stop.
Pew, 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 pew. Where are they all going?
Goddamn stupid boxes. They're all going down.
I have to be flawless, it said. If I miss anything, I have to start all over. Pew pew! Pew pew pew! With my lasers! Lasers made of fire. Beep boop. Are we just flying around in circles here? Pew 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 pew! Pew 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 pew! The cackling is a little creepy.
So, again, where are we going?
I know about the flower. It is intrinsically related to my proud dragon race.
Michael explained it like this. Dragons have been the natural enemies of the flower since ancient times. And dragons were the only creatures in existence that could destroy the flower. When he saw I was infected with it, it kind of hit a nerve, I guess. Michael kept describing it with words like destiny and preordained. Annoying as hell, actually, but whatever. All I needed was his help. The flower had become my sisters, and they had to be destroyed. And once that was done, I had to be destroyed as well. After I told him that, he stayed quiet for a while.
It's a little stressful, feeling like you have to be perfect, but this is still a lot easier than the rhythm game boss.
Apparently, it was a pretty agonizing decision for him. He'd been alive for a very, very long time. Long enough to know every kind of loss imaginable. And sometimes all that pain and loneliness got in the way of his thinking. But after a while, he whispered 2 words to me. Very well. And that was the start of our relationship.
Wish I could glance at the chat now and then, but... Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. Okay, okay. Just... difficulty level just rose a little bit. I like it when they stack behind each other like that. That makes things easy. Big gargoyle cube. Oh, I thought it was gonna take more to kill it than that.
So now will you tell me where we're going?
The mountain.
Which mountain?
I believe it's called Mount Vern... Smith? Vern... Slice?
Huh? Speak up.
The name doesn't matter. It's a holy mountain, right?
Forgot it, did you? The dragon had lived for millennia. He had fought thousands of battles. He had lost count of how many people and other creatures he had killed. In the end, all that remained was a mountain of smoldering castles and half-burnt corpses. And over the sad and endless years, everything the dragon once believed in had become as ashes in the wind.
So we're talking about Taco Bell again. Nice. I missed the quesalupa. Wait. The quesalupa? Yeah, the quesalupa. That's what it was. Someday, Linda, I'm gonna make you watch that commercial. Kyle, protect me, I'm being bullied. Saving progress. Oh, and we got another Mikhail diary. February 17th. Rain. I've been on this island for a week. There's lots of fish everywhere. Big fish, and pretty fish, and flat fish, and fish with feathers, and arms, and legs and stuff. Oh, and mackerel. I like mackerel. I want to go to the other islands, but I don't know how. Since it started raining, it's just been water all over the place. Mackerel? We've got an emote for that. Boom. Hey, speaking of which, that reminds me, guys. Those of you who are subscribers to Hacker Clan, you get access to a few emotes. But Twitch has added more emote slots for Tier 2 and Tier 3 subscriptions. Right now, I don't have any Tier 2 and Tier 3 subscribers because there's no reason. There's no additional benefit, or there hasn't been for a long time. But there is going to be now. First off, I've got new badge flare that you get for your subscriber icon. So right now, the subscriber icon is that little chibi picture of my face, clean shaven, with Simon the cat on my head. But if you get a Tier 2 subscription, you get badge flare that adds my beard and mustache to the icon. And if you go up to a Tier 3 subscription, it also adds my wood frame glasses instead of the regular ones, and Crowley on my head instead of Simon. Thank you to Linda for adding the Crowley part. So that's a new addition for Tier 2 and Tier 3 subscriptions. And there's also new emote slots open. I haven't put anything in there other than buff and nerf emotes for people to use if they subscribe at Tier 2. But let's see, is this the command? I can't remember. I gotta find it because there is there's always been a standing contest going on. Not that. I gotta find it. Emotes. That's it. There we go. There's the information. So on twitch.tv/Kyle McCarley, if I'm live, you gotta scroll. I think you just scroll down. If I'm not live, you go to the About tab, and there's a section in there somewhere about an ongoing emote contest. You can submit your own emotes for the consideration of Hacker Clan as a whole to vote on for adding into the emote pool, as it were. I will probably be reviewing some old submissions from back in the old days, and maybe I don't know, taking a look at. Hopefully, I'll get some new submissions now that I'm actually plugging this, because I haven't talked about this emote contest in a long time. We haven't had new emote slots to use in a long time, but we have some now. So, thanks to the Tier 2 and Tier 3 emote slots that have opened up. So, if you've got some art skills, please feel free to submit to that emote contest. I think I take the submissions through Twitter, if I remember correctly. But okay. So, I like Kyle's hairstyle. Thank you, Sword Dude. It's called the I've been in quarantine for 4 months and I can't get a haircut safely style. Let's go ahead and continue with Zero's DLC. Am I allowed to ask what happened to the cat? What do you mean, to Simon? He's actually on the futon right now. I can show him to you. There he is. That's Simon right there. Just hanging out. Hanging out on the futon. Okay. Back to the game. Who knows? Maybe he'll still be there when we finish the DLC and I go sit over there to do Q&A. And Crowley's out on the couch in the living room. I thought something bad happened to him. Oh, no. No, not at all. He's got a sore above his eye that we're not really sure what it is. Caitlin took him into the vet the other day, but I guess they only had Crowley on the books for the appointment just to get his shots, because he was due for his 1 year vaccines and stuff.
This place is nice and all, but why are we here exactly?
According to our lore, the flower you carry will bring ruin upon the entire world.
That's what they tell me.
As such, it is my duty to kill you on this very spot.
What?
Okay.
And yet, I have concerns about this. If I believed every cradle tale my elders told me, I would be no better than you foolish, low-born humans.
Look, what's the deal? Are you going to kill me or not?
I must test your strength.
Huh?
A hideous clutch of monsters call this mountain your home. If you have the strength to defeat them, you likely have the strength to suppress your curse. Overcome this trial, and I will grant you the right to live. It will not be easy.
Hey, wait! Hey! Get back here, asshole! What kind of ridiculous reason is that? Don't leave me alone on this shit heap, you goddamn idiot!
Ooh, now the door really won't open. Oh no, it is opening. Okay. I thought it was just adding the red shield over it. Prepare for a rhythm game. No! Not another Drakengard rhythm game. Please. Oh no, platforming.
What the? Oh, come the fuck on! Ugh, I hate stupid shit like this. This is such a pain in the ass.
Oh, this is easy platforming though.
Michael was different from your typical dragon. Dragons are usually intelligent, dignified, reluctant to deal with people. Michael tried to act the part, but there was
I
something
won't do it.
off about the whole thing. And what's more, he seemed to take an actual interest in the human race. So, I tried to take advantage of that good-natured friendliness in order to fulfill my own goals.
They're just sleeping. Do I have to fight them? I'm just gonna go. No! I won't fight the puppies. I love them. I will fight this guy. He's cute, but he's not puppy dog cute, you know? That was the easiest troll I've ever had to fight. Hey, he's just trying to hug you and you took off his arms. Yeah, I've always felt a little bad about fighting the trolls because they don't usually do anything until you try to fight them.
This is all that dickhole dragon.
But the game kind of makes you fight them, so...
Stupid mountain, he's dead.
Owie. I did not know that was happening. I thought he was doing the same thing as last time. Dead. Oh no, not puppies! Not the puppies! I don't wanna! I hate it so much! Don't make me fight the puppy. No. I hate it. Just got in. Did Kyle beat the final boss? He did last week. He did first try. Yeah, first try. Thanks. Bunch of dicks. Bit late, what are we doing today? Zero's Prologue. The last little bit of story content I have to do through Drakengard 3. Ow. He definitely beat it on a try, yeah. Yeah. Ha-ha! Target the other one. He's closer. Hey! Ow! Damn it! Oh, come on! Ah, controller! Stop! I'm running in circles! Kill this one! He's down! I think I saw a chest going backwards. I go this way, maybe? Let's see. No? Maybe it's this way. There we go. I getcha! You missed last week's stream and would have loved to see the suffering. That is available to watch as a VOD, both here on twitch.tv/ConWithCarly and on my YouTube channel. Yeah, boy. Ooh, that was close. Yay, health orb.
Did I do something to deserve all this shit? Did I? Well, I guess I did do a little something. Or a lot.
Oh, did I waste? I wasted it. I wasted in toner mode. No, these things are such a pain. Ow. Don't you hit me. Please come out of the box, if you wouldn't mind. Come out of the room where I cannot get any camera angles to agree with me. Come here. Come on! Okay, good. And he hit me. Hit the head! Did not hit the head. Oh boy! Oh boy! Hit the head. Hit the... No, come on! Controller! Stop being a dick! So what are you going to do with the disc of Drakengard 3, Kyle? Good question, True in the Blue.
You managed to survive.
I can't believe you made me climb this bullshit mountain.
You didn't climb it.
Oh, whatever.
Hurry along. We need to go.
Go where?
Next up is the land of forests, where...
What? You didn't say anything about doing more of this crap.
And when did I say this was all there was? You need to pay closer attention. Otherwise, someone will end up swindling you.
Shut your trap, would you?
Michael's trolling Zero.
I'm on. Let's go.
Will it microwave? Wasn't that a YouTube series once upon a time? YouTube series called, Is It a Good Idea to Microwave This? Oh, I didn't level up because I skipped all the puppies. There was a blender one and a microwave one. Oh, I didn't know. I didn't see the blender one. I saw a few episodes of the microwave one. I think I remember they microwaved an airbag from a car, which was a really bad idea to microwave that. They put the microwave in like a blast shielded room with a tiny little window, and I think it cracked that window when it exploded. Do you want to be nice or do you want to be a puppy murderer? No, I don't want to be a puppy murderer. I don't care if I'm nice. I just don't want to murder puppies. Hey, Kyle, want to really tell someone you abhor their existence? Give them your copy of Drakengard 3. Okay. Zero's chapter, verse 4. Give it to James and make him play it.
You know, you've taken me to a lot of bad places, but this dink shithole really takes the cake.
Dink?
Is that sheer I detect from an intoner?
Shut up!
This dank shithole. The Last of Us is very stressful. I could play through Last of Us. That does technically pertain to my voiceover career. we could call it Find Kyle. Or something. Now, I think I'm gonna do God Eater 3 next. I think that's gonna be my next Saturday game. I was in The Last of Us Part 2. In very small bursts. There is not a boss fight coming up. This is not obvious. Okay. Oh, you dick! Didn't I see one? Oh, it was the one that came down when I... damn it. Hi, Michael. How's it going? You gotta climb up. You gotta get to all of them before you can get to the last one. Ooh, close one. I did not need to jump there, but I did it. Okay, okay, okay. And we go. Haha! Suck it! What, scrolling back through the chat really quick. I've been playing Final Fantasy XIV, and if you want to play it, I'd recommend not buying any skips and instead waiting for the next patch to come out in a month. Could we help it? The God Eater campaign with multiplayer. I don't think so. Ars Muse. I don't think. I don't know. Maybe we could do that. That would be fun. Human, you really don't need the chests. This isn't necessary.
This will be your final test of strength, Zero.
Who do I fight now?
Me.
Me.
Oh, I called it!
By besting me in combat. If you are so able, I shall grant your wish. I, Michael, the strongest of all dragons, will become your friend and companion. And together we shall overcome every obstacle the flower sees fit to place in our path.
How many times have I told you to knock off the formal bullshit? And I never asked for a friend.
Begin!
Hey, come on now,
Ow.
wait a second. I didn't ask for this. Besides, you aren't the strongest of any... Stupidest maybe, but not the strongest.
Enough of your insipid prat. If you don't want to die, raise your guard.
Son of a bitch. Isn't this a little sudden?
Okay.
Hey, it's kind of tough to get motivated all spur of the moment like this.
Not insult me like some beast.
Where's he going? What's he doing? I want that health orb, please. Thank you. Oh, he's on the ground, and my targeting is forcing me to swing at him, even though I'm nowhere near him.
Somewhere along the line, I started to enjoy talking with Michael. You always hear about how no one can live alone. And according to Michael, it was the same with dragons. He once mentioned, almost casually, that for him, Being alone was no different from being dead. I found it hard to believe a dragon could ever feel such loneliness. But I guess they can. Or Michael could, at least. He was too stupid to lie to me about it. And it was clear he wanted me to feel the same.
Ah, not fair. I was still standing up.
You all right?
Never should have worshipped your wolves. You have 5 sisters left to kill. How can you accomplish such if you cannot even finish the task?
I know that, all right?
After living for all these millennia, after losing all that I loved
Cheater.
and believed in,
Cheater!
all that remained inside me was loneliness. I thought I would never speak to another person again. But as for why I desire to be with Zero, I cannot say. Perhaps I was expecting something different. A release from the eternal cycle that bound me to the world for all time.
Boxes somewhere. And I want them! Break the boxes! Break the boxes! Why are you not picking up the health orb? Ow. That hurt. I love that mechanic.
You have done well.
Why, thank you.
You humans are a truly annoying lot. But as promised, I will fight alongside you. It might even prove to be simulating.
Simulating?
I think you mean stimulating.
Oh.
Michael.
I was like, what happened in the translation there?
So that's how you first met Michael.
Yep.
Why are there so many Accords? I don't understand it.
By the way, when did all of you get here?
Oh, I wouldn't worry about it.
So, how am I supposed to avoid this disastrous branch you're talking about?
Well, we actually don't know yet.
You don't know, but you came to warn me anyway? What are you, stupid?
There's never any harm in gathering information, is there? Observing and recording are our jobs, remember? You realize that getting too attached to a dragon could cost you later.
No one asked you. And I'm not attached to him, all right?
Yes, but looking at our observation records, I see you've been smiling more since making contact with Michael.
I don't pay attention to shit like that.
We must avoid a full collapse no matter what. Michael is so boundlessly fascinating to me. He tries to act dignified, but he lacks the intelligence to pull it off. Is that perhaps stimulating your maternal instincts, Zero?
No, not at all.
Dragons are certainly interesting. Humans, too. Yep.
Yep. Just making sure there's nothing else for me to interact with in here, like maybe the sword on the table? Nope. Is that like saying he's too stupid to be smart? Kinda, yeah. A chord voice. People are stupid when they're dumb.
I'm not interested in joining up with you, but I will put an end to this flower.
Understood. However, if you fail to destroy the flower, we will be forced to eliminate the singularity. In other words, you. And then, seal off this branch forever.
I'm not here to fail, so just stay the hell out of my way. If you mess with me, I'll kill you all. Got it?
Such confidence. Are you sure you can trust Michael that much?
I don't trust him at all. But he wouldn't lie to me. He can't. He's too stupid for it to even occur to him.
I think that does mean you trust him.
And no matter how many times he fails, he'll keep his promise. And kill me in the end.
So, in other words, you're trusting him after all.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, exactly.
Shut up. I've never once trusted Michael. He was just an idiot dragon with a knack for saying things wrong. Why would anyone trust someone like that? We were always screwing with each other, you know? It was a lot of fun. But sometimes Michael would get this one expression on his face. And I couldn't tell if it was happy or sad. Michael, just hold on, okay? I'll be joining you soon. The night he chose to fight the Intoner, the dragon had a dream. The boy was a friend, one he fought with long ago. The dragon was shaking. Shaking with the fear of yet another battle, with the fear of yet another loss. As the dragon headed for a broken world, the boy stood silent.
What was that? Was that stuff about Drakengard 1? Was that what that was? Ooh, 2 levels. No? I don't understand. All right. Let's read some memoirs of the Intoners. Save. Not that it matters, because we're done now. That was it. That was the whole game. But let's read the rest of Mikhail's diaries here. April 19th. Cloudy. I saw some humans today. They all really like songs and sing pretty much all day long, even though everything kind of sucks for them at the moment. I even sang for a while too. Their singing reminded me of Zero. It's funny, even though I forget a lot of stuff, I always remember her. I think it's because she was angry with me all the time. I wish she would have sang with me instead. I'm lonely, Zero. May 1st. Clear. There are more humans here lately, and they're taking up more and more of the land. They broke up the forests and mountains and oceans, and now they just move these big metal boxes and dolls all over the place. The animals that used to live here are in trouble because they have nowhere to live now. But do they deserve the land more than others? I think about that a lot now. Okay, Memoirs of the Intoners. Or Memories of the Intoners. That was level 5? Yeah. July 1st. Rain. The girl who fed me this morning says her nation is in a state of constant war. They kill each other from dawn until dusk, then sleep for a bit before starting all over again. Apparently, it's been going on like this for decades. Later, I brought mackerel to the girl's house to thank her for breakfast, but she'd been blown to pieces by a bomb. Why couldn't I save her? Where did I go wrong? September 30th. Cloudy with scattered showers. Another day of nothing but mechanical children. There used to be so many humans, and now I can't find them without a long and painstaking search. There was an earthquake yesterday, accompanied by a bright light in the east. Probably more explosions. Contaminated ash rained down, no doubt killing more people and animals. I just slept through it. It's not like I can do anything. November 4th. Cloudy with occasional snow. I came across my first human village in a long time. It was small, maybe 100 all told, but they seemed hardworking and honest. When they saw me, they began to call me their divine guardian, which mostly meant listening to them complain all day. It seems having someone to talk to is a big deal for them. I can empathize. I look back fondly on some of my conversations with Zero. They helped me feel like I wasn't quite so alone in this world. December 28th. Snow. For a long time, I experienced only failure. But I will not quit. No matter how much injustice is in the world, I will not permit myself to surrender to it. I am not Zero. I cannot change the world with rage and destruction. If, however, there is some way I can make it a better place, I will try with all of my strength. I will not give up. Zero never did. And lastly, January 21st. Fire. My body is very broken now. I can feel the holes in my memory increasing in number. But I don't need to fight anymore either. So it's okay. Are you proud of me, Zero? Did I do well? Or would you yell at me like always? Zero. I'll see you soon. Well, all right then. Glad we ended things on a happy note there. Jeez. I still don't... I mean, obviously... This is the prequel to Drakengard 1, right? So this... Somehow, this stuff ties in to that game. And I am really curious to see how. But it's gonna be a little... It's gonna be a minute. Because I need to take a break from the NieR universe for a little bit. So, I think next week I'm gonna be playing some God Eater 3. I think that's what I've settled on. I think. River City Girls is another option. I'll probably do both of those. Final Fantasy XIV is another thing that I've obviously been thinking about for a while. A lot of people want to see me play through the NieR raids in that, so I might do that at some point. I don't know. Right now, I think they've only got the first NieR raid out, and I think I don't know. I think they're going to do 3 at some point. The second NieR raid is coming out very soon, if it's not out already. Next month, okay. So, maybe I'll save that until all of those raids are out and I can get through them all in one shot. I don't know. We'll see. I know I've got some Final Fantasy XIV fans in the community, so I know I'd have some help from you guys. I don't know if you're all on the same server, though. I'll probably do a level skip to get to that content as quickly as possible, but I might just wait until all 3 raids are out and do them all together. I don't know. Anyway, that's it for the gameplay section of today's stream. I guess I'll save for posterity's sake. I'd love to help, but I'm not on your server. I don't have a server, Arcanum Symphonis, so I don't know where I will end up. Anyway, that's a question for future Kyle to deal with. Because I think I'm gonna save that. I think that's what I've settled on. I don't know. We'll see. But at any rate, I think God Eater 3 is gonna be next. So that's it for gameplay portion. Stick around if you got questions or if you just want to chat with me. I'm going to quickly change this to just chatting. If I can, please. There we go. And I'm gonna put this as just finished Drakengard 3 is the title. There we go. Boom. Okay, so we've updated that. I'm gonna go switch over to the couch for this conversation. Cause, I don't know, I feel like that's a better place to do this than in front of my silly little background here. So let's go to the mall today. Where is it? It's this button. We'll go join Simon Cat on the couch. All right. Excuse me, Simon Cat. How you guys doing out there in chat land? How's it going? We got time to kill today. I haven't just sat here and no mic. What? What do you mean no mic? Low mic volume. Oh. You know what? That's probably... Yeah. That's probably better. How's that? There we go. Now you can probably hear me. Sorry. Yeah. That's... It's also not pointed at me at all. Let's, do this. Alright, it's super far away. It's the wrong kind of microphone for this, but, that's okay. It'll work. I just wanna sit and chat. I haven't done this with you guys in a while. I haven't sat on this couch and talked to folks. So, throw your questions at me, or just, you know, if you just want to chat, just talk. Just say what's on your mind, and I will scroll back through the chat a little bit to catch up here. It's been a while, Kyle. How you been doing? How is VA work for you and Caitlin? We've been very busy, actually, True in the Blue. Caitlin has been working more than she ever has in her career, in terms of voice acting stuff since the pandemic started. Really, she really started to pick up a lot of commercial work. But she's also been doing some more dubbing stuff. I don't know if it's anything that you guys will necessarily watch, because the audience for live action dubbing is completely different than the audience for anime and video games, Japanese video games in particular. But that's been a lot of what she's been up to. I've been up to a mix of things. And the only thing that's really changed is that it's all happening here. I stand in this spot in front of that microphone that you can't see right now. Occasionally the other microphone. It depends on what kind of project it is. And I talk to people through Zoom or Skype, or actually we use Source Connect or Source Connect Now or Session Link or Connection Open, for them to record the audio in a pretty high quality fashion, and then Skype or Zoom for them to share video with me when I need it, which is a lot of what I do. Obviously, I'm still doing a whole lot of anime dubbing, a little bit of live action dubbing. There hasn't been quite as much of that since the pandemic started. I've been directing. I just finished up directing a project that I started not long before the pandemic. It was a video game. I can't really go into too many specifics, but we had one character that got saved for later, and it ended up being much later because the pandemic went into effect, and they did end up bringing the actor into the studio, but I was remote, the client was remote, only the engineer was in the studio with the actor, and obviously they were separated by the pane of glass, the isolation booth. I didn't see how well they adhered to social distancing protocols and everything when they were not in session, but I trust that particular studio. I think they were pretty mindful and careful about that. So that's kind of what's been different. It's mostly been the same, but there's definitely been a change. And it's been very very lonely. There's been all of my social interaction has basically been through Twitch, which is why I've added in the co-op Quarren stream on Thursday nights, playing video games with my buddies. Because without that, it's just kind of been me and Caitlin sitting around the house. I feel bad for Caitlin because she's really not a digital-oriented person at all. She really misses that physical social interaction with people. She's cheating on quarantine a little bit, but it's largely safe. Largely like going outdoors and getting together with friends at a distance, wearing masks and stuff. So it's safe, but it's not exactly the number one best method of preventing coronavirus. But she did just get tested, and the test came back negative. So we're doing well on that front. I guess I don't know. I'm terrified at the state of the world in general, but that's kind of where we're at. I'm gonna scroll through the chat and see what else is going on here. If you could have dinner with any 4 of your characters, who would you pick and why? Well, Mob from Mob Psycho 100 would probably be on that list, because he's so sweet and gentle, and he's like a cuddly little teddy bear. You just wanna hug him. Let's see, who would be fun to hang out with. I'm looking around my room here at fan art, and most of it's of 9S. 9S would probably, it depends on where we're at in the story in terms of how good of a person 9S would be to hang out with. I'm trying to think of who would be fun and interesting but not a dick. Hey, let's see. Because it obviously wouldn't be Shinji. It wouldn't be. Oh, you know what? Zeke from God Eater 3. Seems like he would be a lot of fun. He's kind of a wisecracker, so he'd be like the jokester at the table, but he wouldn't be he wouldn't be mean about it. Like some of the fun characters to play are not the kind of people that you actually want to spend time with, because they're kind of jerks about it. But Zeke seems like he's a fun-loving wisecracker as opposed to a mean jokester. So he'd be on my list. I could probably nerd out pretty well with Hal from Astral Chain. He's a cool dude. He's a way bigger nerd than I am, though, so but maybe he could teach me some things. That'd be fun. Sometimes I like to talk tech with people. And let's see, that's 3. I got Mob, I got Zeke, I got Hal, and depending on where we're at in the story, depending on which 9S we get, 9S would be the last one, I think. You woke up Simon. Oh, he's fine. He's doing just fine. You can't see his face, but he's cuddling into the couch. Anyone else see Comet Neo-wise this morning? I don't know anything about that. Did I miss a comet? I'm bummed. I wasn't doing anything last night. I should have gone out and looked. Maybe FF14 can be a co-op stream with the boys. Probably not, Nico Draco. I don't think I'm going to get them interested in it. Miss you, buddy. Miss you too, James. It's been a while. It's been a long while. Actually, James and Caitlin and I went out for lunch right before lockdown went into effect. You're one of the last people I saw in person, James. Hope you're not getting sick of my commentary, Kyle. Not at all, Milkman. I have a question. What do you plan to do with this when this is all over? Travel? What was a day in the life of Kyle when you aren't gaming or voicing anything? So, this is something I've thought about a little bit. Before we were kind of stuck at home, Caitlin and I were pretty much homebodies. We had a group of friends that we hung out with fairly regularly, usually at each other's houses, and played board games with them and stuff. Or watch movies or whatever we did. It was mostly board games though. So I'm sure with we're so eager to do that again that we may start doing that before it's really safe. Just like introducing people into the pod. Like, all right, here's the deal, guys. We've all got to quarantine with this exception. Just us. So I don't know. We might start playing I don't know. Board games are so tricky because you gotta touch so much stuff. It's, I don't know. Maybe there's ways to, I don't know. They're not digital people, so I can't get them to sign on to the tabletop simulator idea stuff. It's not the same as that face-to-face interaction. So that's definitely going to be on our list of things that we start doing when it feels safe to do so. But I think because of the fact that we are now forced to be homebodies, I think once the floodgates are open for us, not in terms of the eyes of the government, but in terms of the eyes of me mostly, because I feel like it's not safe at all yet. Once I feel like, all right, we're at a point now where it's safe. Either there's a vaccine or there's enough contact tracing in place that we can take those instant 15-minute result tests or whatever that tell you exactly what you've got, or to tell you exactly if you've got it right then and there, and you can go do stuff safely. I don't know. Whatever it is, whatever it means for me to feel safe going out and doing stuff, I think there's going to be a month or two where every night we're just going, all right, what are we doing tonight? Let's go do stuff. Let's get out of this house. I don't know what it'll be. going to I don't know, going to clubs and bars and things, or going bowling, or going axe throwing, or mini golfing, or I don't know. There's so much stuff to do in Los Angeles, or there was before the pandemic, that I think we're finally going to take advantage of a lot of it for a brief burst until we just get sick of it all. And then and I was gonna say, oh, I'm definitely gonna go back to playing hockey someday. I miss that a lot. I miss riding my bike to work. Um, I have no physical activity. I've probably gained a good 10 pounds in my gut and in my chin since the pandemic started, which is exactly why I grew the beard back after I shaved it off. Anyway, scrolling down. I'm glad things are going well. I'm going to go back to graduate school in 2022. Congratulations, True. I know that's a ways away, but I'm glad that you're planning to do that. You know, you could I don't know. I don't know what kind of offerings there are right now. Everything seems to be up in the air in terms of the education system. I was going to say you could do online graduate school, but who knows? Been at work all during lockdown. Oh, I'm so sorry, Arcanum Symphonis. You know, I saw a statistic that was pretty frightening a couple weeks ago that was talking about people who were you know, the new infections of coronavirus since restrictions started getting lifted, and the only commonality between all of the people that were getting infected was that they were going to work. That was the one thing they had in common. It wasn't protests. It wasn't even like going out to eat or going to a bar or whatever. The one thing that everybody who had it had in common was that they were going in to work in office settings, and that's kind of terrifying, you know, because that's something that everybody does. But yeah, I mean, now we know it's very much an airborne virus, and when you're going into an office building and sitting in close proximity, honestly, even if you're not sitting in close proximity, if the air conditioning is on and the windows are closed, like all that air gets circulated to everybody that's in the same building. So if one person has it, it's going to be everybody pretty much. That's what terrifies me about, like, if I would sooner throw a backyard barbecue with 20 people and have us all be outside eating the same food. I feel like that seems safer. I'm not going to do that. That doesn't feel safe at all, but it feels safer based on what we know now than going into a recording studio that has maybe 3 or 4 or 5 people on site, to me. I know that maybe that seems a little bit backwards logic, but it just, the indoor setting just does not sound safe at all right now. 9S finding out there's a real human. Yeah, he would be so much fun to hang out with for that reason. Oh, that's a good point, though, Fallen Moon. He would just keep asking questions. Yeah, because he's super curious. If you could have a conversation with any of the Drakengard 3 disciples, who would you like to sit down and chat with for a while? Maybe Dido. It would definitely not be Sent, because he's an arrogant prick and he likes to make up lies. It would not be Octa, because as much as I find his quips about sex hysterical, they would get old fast. I don't think it would be Decadus, because he's such a masochist that I think that, well, I don't know. Maybe I could get past the occasional noises from him and just have a conversation with him, because other than that, he seems mostly like a normal person to have a conversation with. Dido is a little bit sadistic, but he's also got that sarcastic wit that's kind of fun, but it's kind of that mean sarcastic wit too. Like, it's a fun character to watch, but I don't know if it's a fun character to hang out with in real life. So maybe Decadus, actually. I think I've talked my way into it. Decadus would be the one that I would tolerate the most. Scrolling down. Suo Genji from Beyblade? No, I would not want to. I would not want to hang out with Suo at all. He's an ass. Such a prick. Let's see. What is the cat's name? That was Simon, sword dude, who just left. He got tired of sitting next to me. Simon is such a pretty boy. 9S is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. It was only a few days before lockdown. Yeah, James, it was right before everything went into lockdown, right before all the restaurants closed down and everything. How is the process affecting voice recording? Does it take longer to put episodes together with all the actors remote stream? So in terms of anime, which was actually surprisingly the first, like, everything kind of shut down for a minute there when lockdown started. Anime was one of the first niches of the voiceover industry to pick back up and keep going. I think that's just because of the fact that they're dealing with international clients who are working on deadlines, and the budget, the profit margins are so low in that industry that it's like, if you shut down for any length of time, you might be shut down permanently because you run out of money. So they had to figure out solutions quickly, which is interesting because anime is probably the hardest thing to do, technologically speaking, remote, compared to other forms of voiceover because of the need for timing, for the need for sync when you're looking at video. But once we got that technological solution figured out, and there are different methods to do the same thing depending on which studio I'm working with, but it's basically using Skype or Zoom or something similar to look at video while sending high quality audio through something like Source Connect or Connection Open or Session Link or whatever, for them to record on their end, and then the actor also records things on their own end, just to have a backup copy that's completely lossless. Although Connection Open is also completely lossless, which is why it's my favorite. That, and it's super, super fast. But anyway, so once we figured out that technological solution, whichever version of it we're doing, the production pipeline as far as the actor goes was pretty much the same. At least once you've got the tech figured out at home. Like, I've directed a few actors.
Greetings, Professor.
Hey, thanks so much, NieR Gundam, for that 7-month resub. That reminds me, actually, I had a couple subscriptions before the stream started that I need to shout out. Gentleman Jolt resubscribed for 12 months in a row, 31 total. He said, I forgot I had a resub, so I didn't think of anything creative or funny to say. Happy 31 months. Insert JoJo reference here. Thanks so much. And I missed another one, crap, that is not showing up in my feed. I remember it now, but I don't see it, which is so frustrating. Where's that resub from NieR Gundam for 7 months in a row? Happy Saturday, everyone.
Professor.
Thanks so much, NieR Gundam. Extended their Tier 1 subscription through September. Whoa! I didn't know you could do that. You could buy your subscription in advance.
Professor.
Wow.
Nothing to report.
And hey, there's a subscription from, I gotta get close to read that, Zabriatora, I think is what that says. Yes, subscribe to Tier 1. Thank you so much. Welcome to Hacker Clan, Zabria. Anyway, I was in the middle of talking about the adjustments. So with some actors who are less technologically inclined, there's definitely some growing pains trying to talk them through how to set up stuff. But once you get through those hurdles, everything works pretty much the same. Now, granted, the big hurdle I know is on the side of production that I have nothing to do with, which is the mixing engineer that's the part that I know has gotten significantly harder, because now you're dealing with, instead of, generally speaking, a cast of, 20, 30 actors. I don't know how many actors you might have on any given episode of a show or whatever. Generally speaking, they're all coming in to record on the same microphone in the same booth, going through the same preamp and the same digital interface and whatever. It's all the same, or close to it. Maybe you're recording in 3 or 4 different rooms or something. Oh, and thank you for those 10 bits, Neos Gundam. I can't say, but you're so awesome, Kyle, and everyone stay awesome too. Oh, I can't stay, but you're so awesome, Kyle, and everyone stay awesome too. Thank you so much, Neos Gundam. Thanks for popping in just to resub and give me those bits. I appreciate it. So that's changed. There, instead of everything being on the same equipment in the same space, now it's all different. Everybody's recording on their own microphone in their own room that's treated differently on their own digital interface. Everything is different, which makes the mixing engineer's job a lot harder, because now they have to try and make the sound consistent, and depending on what you're dealing with, that's tough. I know of one particular studio that has managed to combat that challenge by sending out remote kits that have a MacBook Pro laptop in them that's pre-set up with all of the tech stuff, so that they can just open it up, turn it on, and then instantly the engineer can remote in and control everything for them, which is a brilliant move, because having been on the director end of a couple sessions with some older actors who don't know the technology very well, that being able to remote control everything takes a lot of problems out of the equation, for sure. So they've got a laptop in the kit, they've got a microphone in the kit. I think it's a Neumann TLM 103 is what they put in those kits. They've got what is the digital interface they use in those kits? I think it's an Apogee something or other. I can't remember. I know it's not the Apollo, and it should be, because I love the Apollo. I've got an Apollo X4, and it's great. Anyway, just nerding out with tech. So they've got a digital interface that's got the built-in preamp. They've got a microphone. They've got a mic stand. They've got the laptop. But the big thing that keeps everything consistent by sending those kits out is they add a little microphone shield, which I wish I could pull up a picture of it for you. But it's kind of like this U-shaped a foam thing that mounts to the microphone stand and sits probably about a foot behind the microphone, maybe a little less, maybe like 6 inches behind the microphone. Generally speaking, for voiceover, you don't want that thing, because it kind of makes everything sound a little bit boxy. But by adding that little piece into the kit that is going out for remote recording rigs, if everybody has that thing behind the same microphone and the same interface and the same computer and everything, all of a sudden it kind of doesn't matter what the rest of the room is treated with, because that little shield that's behind the microphone makes everybody sound pretty much the same. So kind of a stroke of genius. It kind of makes everything suck a little bit, but it makes everything suck the same, as opposed to everything having varying degrees of suck. Like, my space is pretty well treated. Some people are recording in their bedroom closet with like a blanket over their head or something, which is a brilliant solution for when you're recording auditions and stuff. But when you're trying to record broadcast quality audio, it just doesn't measure up to some of the other more professionally treated spaces. Some people spend thousands of dollars on a recording booth that comes pre-treated and everything, and then you assemble it, but because of the fact that it's a box, it sounds a little bit hollow. So It's just it's varying degrees of expertise when it comes to acoustic treatments and everything. Like it just adds an extra layer of trickiness for the mixing engineer. As far as the actor goes, everything's pretty much the same. The only thing that's different on our end of things once we get up and running is that when we record stuff that's in sync, the people on the other end are seeing it slightly late, just because of the inherent delay in the signal between going through the series of tubes to send everything from actor to engineer to director. So it adds a little bit of a delay, so when you're recording it, it'll look like it's wrong, and then the engineer just has to slide it back and play it and check it to make sure that it fits. But most of the time we have to do that anyway in an in-person recording session, because you're like, nobody's perfect every time with their sync. It depends on the writer, it depends on the actor, it depends on the character, it depends on a lot of things. So like there's always going to be a little bit of trial and error in terms of matching those lip flaps every time. And maybe you're coming in late, maybe the beeps are early, maybe the beeps are late. I don't know. It's kind of the same. It doesn't really slow things down that much from an actor's perspective. It just slows things down on the mixing engineer at the end of the process, just trying to make everything match, which can happen, by the way. Even though everybody's space is different, everybody's equipment is different, they can mix it to make it sound pretty darn close. It just takes a lot more time, because normally they wouldn't have to do all of that post-production stuff to make it match. Sorry, I've been sitting here on a tirade talking about the industry and about tech stuff that most of you probably don't care about. We will always ask about the work of Kyle, his cat, what he's gonna play, but no one asks, "How are you, Kyle?" I'm good, Sword Dude. I'm doing just fine. Other than watching the society fall apart around me, I'm doing just fine. Scrolling through pod mini games that happened a while ago. I don't even know how long ago. How do you think a Sugar Rush 9S would talk? Probably the same, just faster, you know? I'm gonna add this light into the equation. I look a little shadowy. Yeah, that helps a little bit. All right. Let's see. Pod being mean. I'm sorry, Linda. I wonder how Japanese anime casts are doing, since they all record the episodes live together in a run-through. Oh, right. Okay, so I wanted to talk about... So I was talking about how anime adapted pretty quickly, in spite of the fact that the technological aspect was a little bit harder. Basically, the only thing that's changed in the rest of the industry, because anime has always been recorded one actor at a time. Video games have long been mostly recorded one actor at a time, so that hasn't really changed. Although most of the big titles have kind of just shifted their focus onto other portions of the production timeline that can happen more easily at home, I guess. There are still some that are recording remote voiceover work, but a lot of them put that on pause for a little while. Some are back in studio with serious precautions in place. I'm certainly not going into any studios right now. I'm asking all clients to record me remote, which most are pretty okay with it. Some are a little bit hesitant. I'm expecting the day to come at some point in the future where I say, no, I'm not coming into the studio. I will record remote, and the studio, whoever's in charge of hiring will say, if that's the case, we can't hire you. I know that day is coming. It hasn't come for me yet. Thankfully, I have a nice enough space here that and nice enough equipment here that they've mostly, even the ones that have been hesitant to accept that decree on my end, have been willing to work with me, so I appreciate that. Anyway, so where was I going with this? I was going to talk about other facets of the industry. So the original animation industry, a lot of that still happens under normal circumstances, still happens with a group recording situation, kind of like Steel Neko was talking about with Japanese anime where they all dub in a group and walk up. I really don't. I can't wrap my head around how they handle things there. I know a lot of times the Japanese audio does not fit the animation super well, but considering what I've seen of production videos for how they record stuff, they go so fast. They get the whole group lined up, and they walk up to the microphone when it's their turn. Like, they'll do half an episode once. They'll do that same half an episode again. Like, they hit play and hit record, and they've got the script, and they walk up when it's their turn to talk, and they just go, like, blind. Once through half an episode, again through that same half an episode, and then they do the back half of the episode twice. And that's it. And that's crazy to me. Like, the way that we do things is so different, one line at a time, making sure everything fits the mouth flaps almost perfectly. And our sync is a lot better than theirs, but considering the pace that they go, it's astounding that they're as close as they are with their sync. But anyway, I digress. In terms of those group record scenarios here in America, which are very common in the animation world, less and less common as we get further along in technology and people's schedules get busier and busier, and animation starts casting bigger and bigger names who are even busier. But there's still a certain amount of group record stuff happening in the animation world, or there was before the pandemic. The original animation work that I have been doing has managed to find a solution using Source Connect now to get everybody hearing high quality audio. It can support up to 10 people at the same time, so we don't get the whole cast, but we never did because it's a big enough cast that everybody's got schedules that are tough enough to line up that it just doesn't. It's never worked to get everybody for a session, but we get a good portion of the cast together, and we get the director, we get a couple clients on the line, and maybe even one. The director's also the engineer, but maybe there's another engineer or administrative person on the line just kind of listening in and taking notes and stuff.
Greetings, Professor.
So we get
nothing to report.
Hey, thank you so much, Nightlight S, for that 6 months. I'll get to your shout out in a second. We get all those people on the line, and then all the actors record on their own and a backup track, which is really not even a backup track. It's going to be the primarily used track because Source Connect now kind of degrades the quality a little bit, and they're a little bit particular, and they want to get that raw audio. But what we'll do is we'll all be on the line on Source Connect now, and we'll have our own track recording on our end. The director records everybody on one track on Source Connect now, or coming through Source Connect now, and then we'll do a countdown at the start of a take, which will be like 2 or 3 pages of dialogue or whatever the scene is. And he'll count things down for us, starting at like 7 or something. He'll go 7, 6, 5, 4, and then once he gets to 3, we all, as a cast, try and chime in, and it's kind of hilarious because of the fact that there's a delay, so we're trying to match our 3, 2, 1 to what we're hearing coming from the director, but at the same time, we're all doing that, and so we're hearing each other kind of delayed and stuff, so it always throws stuff off. But anyway, the point of doing that is to kind of sync up all of our, like, give a nice spike in the waveform in all of our individual audio files so that the engineer later, when he's cutting stuff together, can just line that up and then cut out our silence between lines and stuff, and line it up with the reference track that the director's getting, so that he knows exactly where everything is supposed to fit. And then we can still play off of each other like we normally would in a group record session. So it's like it adds a little bit of time to the production process, but not much. And honestly, from an actor's perspective, it's kind of nice because now, instead of being in the same room as all of those people and having to be completely silent when it's not my turn to talk, for whatever reason, it doesn't really matter if I make a noise that's kind of light, because I'm not in the same room, so whatever I do is not getting picked up on their track, which helps. And if we get to a scene that I'm not in, that's only a couple pages long or something, instead of having to sit quietly in my chair in the same room while we wait, I can just mute my microphone, turn on my speakers, and walk out to the kitchen, get myself a snack, come back and sit on this couch and just kind of kick up my feet, listen in while they're making the magic happen. And then when I hear them get to, okay, now we're going to do pickups for a little bit in this scene, and I look at the script and I'm like, all right, I'm in the next scene. Fine, I'll turn off the air conditioner again, I'll turn off my speakers, put my headphones back on, and just get ready for when we get to the next scene where I'm in. So honestly, I'm kind of liking that aspect of the remote situation. And video games, when they happen, haven't really changed at all because most of it's been individual as well. So that's kind of how things have changed on the remote aspect. I don't know if any of that even made sense to you guys because I'm not scrolling through the chat. I'm so far back in time, catching things up. Let's see. Okay, I got a shout out I've got to give to somebody who resubscribed. Hold on. I don't want to lose my place, though. There it was. It was Nightlight S, subscribed for 6 months on a 6-month streak. Thank you so much for sticking with Hacker Clan, Nightlight. I really appreciate it. Okay. I thought there was going to be a message, so that's why I saved it for later. I would have just jumped in with that right away. Is there anybody like a voice actor or maybe some developer who you would love to work with or do lines for? I still want to be part of the Star Wars universe at some point in my career. That's definitely a bucket list item. I want to be in something on the Disney Channel or on some Disney network. I don't think I've done that yet. Well, I guess I have. I guess Beyblade Burst was on Disney XD. I don't know if that really counts for me personally, but some original animated show that airs there. I've got Infinity Train that's airing on Cartoon Network. I've got another one that I've been working on that I don't know. I don't think any of us know yet where it's headed once it gets released, but I want to do more of that stuff. I want to do more AAA video game stuff. I don't really have any. I don't know. As far as bucket list actors to work with go, I definitely want to work with Rob Paulson and Maurice LaMarche, Billy West, John DiMaggio, basically the entire cast of Futurama. I have worked with Phil Lamar. He was a joy. That was fun. He's very sweet, very humble, and very nice. We also had a child actor in the room who was really great, and he was very, very nice to her. It was cool to see that. Oh gosh, Tress MacNeille, and the legends that have been in the industry for a long time. I want to work with them. I want to work with Frank Welker before he retires. I don't know if I'll get the chance. Especially with this pandemic going on, I don't know. Maybe he's accelerating towards retirement a little bit earlier than he was planning on. I don't know. Yeah, there's a few of those. There's a few directors who I'd like to work with. I really wanted to work with Andrea Romano. I did get the chance to take a workshop with her, but she's mostly retired now, which kind of sucks because I really did want to work with her. I don't know. As far as like specific projects that are on my bucket list, there's not a whole lot anymore. But just being able to do more of the stuff that I do now is kind of where I'm at, which is a pretty great place to be, honestly, in terms of my career advancement. They aren't cheap laptops either. That sounds pricey. Yes, that is true. That's the reason that most studios are not taking the remote rig approach, because it's expensive to get all of that gear together and send it to every actor you're working with. I mean, the plan is to arrange your schedule such that you knock out everything from a certain actor kind of in one go, get them to, they send their remote rig back to you. You disinfect it for a couple days, like let it sit out and everything after you've disinfected it for a couple days, and then you send it to the next actor. So hopefully you don't need a whole bunch of those rigs, but you still need like 4 or 5 of them to make it productive. So at least in terms of the same level of productivity that you had before. So yeah, that's an expensive investment for sure, which is why most studios are not using that approach. I remember someone talking about having to shave a spot on their beard for motion capture in voice acting. It was for video games. Yes. So I have not had the pleasure of working in motion capture yet in my career. I've auditioned for a few motion capture projects before, and I've gotten a little bit of experience doing motion capture in like a class setting or something, but I haven't done it for work. And that work, I believe, has pretty much all been put on hold. I don't know what's going to happen with it, because right now the pandemic was starting to, we started to flatten the curve, and then we lifted all the restrictions, and then it spiked like crazy. So a lot of all of the plans for returning to on-set work for on-camera actors kind of got like, never mind, we're not going to do that yet. And I think a motion capture set is much the same, maybe even riskier than on-camera work stuff in terms of it, as far as the virus goes. So I don't know what's going on that front. It's not really, it's not a realm of the industry that I've gotten much chance to be a part of. I don't know if I ever will at this point. But that, I guess that's a bucket list item. Not one during the pandemic. I have no interest in doing that till COVID is long gone. But someday I'd like to do it. And when I do, I'm sure I will have to shave all of this off, because the way that motion capture works, it's the cameras have got to be able to see your features, and the facial hair does cover that. Honestly, the biggest problem with my facial hair would be I've probably got a little bit too much here, and the mustache definitely shields a little too much of my lips for the motion capture to be able to pick stuff up. And you have to take the glasses off too, because it's got to be able to see this stuff. The hair's also way too long, but it's too long just in general. I just haven't had the chance to, I don't feel safe going into to my hairdresser to get it cut, so it's just getting super long. Yeah, ideally they want you to be completely clean shaven. They can work with a little bit of facial hair, like the stuff that's on the sides of my face, because of the fact that you can still sort of see my jawline and everything. That might be okay, but ideally they want it to be completely clean shaven for motion capture. Let's see. Funky Fly Guy has an Apollo twin. Dude, the Apollos are so great. All the plugins, they're awesome. Anyway, get the Avalon 737 plugin if you don't have it, because it's great. Anyway, just nerding out about gear. Sword Dude must go now. Kyle, sorry, but the man of the house, someone needs to make food. See ya. Oh, sorry, Sword Dude. I think you're probably already gone at this point, but thank you for stopping by. An isolation shield. Yes, that's what it's called, Conquil. That's what I was looking for. Not a pop filter. Everybody's got pop filters. The thing that goes behind the microphone. Yes, that's the isolation shield. You don't see them in voiceover studios most of the time. But it's a brilliant way to make everybody sound consistent. Everybody sound the same level of bad, basically. Karisu Sparta asks, who's your top 3 favorite characters from the Drakengard series so far? Ooh, Kaine is probably on that list. Emil has got to be on that list. And who would be my other top 3? I don't know. I'm trying to think. Thinking through all of the additional characters that don't get a whole lot of time in the spotlight that are fun. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just 9S. hate to be narcissistic, but I do love 9S. So maybe it's those 3. Kaine, Emil, and 9S. Wow, that's like the whole spectrum of character traits, isn't it? In those 3 characters. I kind of have that on my mic. It just neutralizes echo and bounce. It's kind of like I said, it makes everything sound a little bit boxy because it's so close to the microphone. But it does help with those reflections that are coming from that side of things, I guess. Ideally, you want the space to be treated with these panels are 4 inches thick with acoustic treatment. It's like super. It's like insulation almost. It's kind of the material inside of them, and that's kind of the ideal situation. Like when people walk into this room who are used to isolation booths, they go, "Whoa, I can hear my blood," because everything is dead in this space when all the fans are off and everything. Most professional recording studios have something similar to this, but it's usually only like 2 inches thick, which is great. It's totally adequate. It's perfect. This is honestly more than a lot of recording engineers would want, because they want to hear a little bit of the room in the recording. But it just kind of depends on what the use is for what you're recording. In terms of voiceover, I like to have everything as dead as possible because you can always add in a little bit of reflections in post. It's harder to take it out. But anyway, I know some people who are into sound stuff, and God, I have so much respect. Here in Germany, I am a car designer, and we are working on home office with the engineers to make the new cards, all using standard computers. It is a complicated orchestra to manage. I bet, Ninja Models. Yeah, I can't even imagine all of that. NSYNC, says Steel Neck. Yes, exactly, NSYNC. Google the Talent VB1. It's probably something like that. An isolation sheet. Oh, that's what we're talking about there. The Talent VB1. I'm going to look that up right now. Talent VB1. Yes, that's an isolation shield. Yes, exactly that. Okay. If they didn't sanitize the pop filters and mics before quarantine, I hope they do now. Yeah, so the safety protocols that are in place at the studios that are actually bringing actors in to record are it varies from place to place. There's unfortunately no one set of standards yet. SAG-AFTRA is working on it. They've been very, very slow with it, unfortunately, but I think that's just because of the fact that with all of the on-camera actors completely out of work, dues are not coming in like they normally do, so the union has had to scale back on their staff like crazy. They're working with an absolute skeleton crew, so they've been super slow coming out with their own set of guidelines, but they are working on it. They're working on it with healthcare professionals, giving them insight, so that will help. But for the most part, all of the studios are kind of working on their own set of guidelines, just based on what guidelines have come out from the state of California, at least in Los Angeles. I don't know what's going on in the rest of the country, but in Los Angeles, they're based on the state of California's guidelines. They come up with their own set of safety protocols that basically the The ideals of what I have been championing. Granted, my number one thing when it comes to these safety protocols is if it is at all possible to record it remotely, do. Because that's the only way to stay totally safe as an actor is to stay home. So that's my number one safety protocol right there. But if it's not, if the actor doesn't have the space or the equipment or you know, whatever the reasoning is that makes it not feasible to record at home, when you're coming in, you want nobody on site, if at all possible. The engineer's got to be there, but the director doesn't have to be. The director can be remote. The client doesn't have to be. They can be remote if they're listening in. So you don't want anybody else on site. There's no secretaries or anything. All the paperwork is filled out digitally through email after the fact or before the fact. You don't pick up a pen and sign stuff while you're there. None of that happens. A lot of places are installing UVC HVAC filters and stuff to help try and mitigate any spread through the air conditioning system. They're getting UVC wands to wave over everything between sessions. They're also disinfecting as best they can. Now, they don't have professional cleaning crews coming in. I wish they did. It's usually that engineer that's the only person on site that's got to do all the disinfecting, which I don't love. But it's hard to disinfect things like pop filters, and just because they're so porous. Like, if I can bend this down for you. Hold on. Or actually, maybe I can do that with this microphone. This pop filter right here. It's so porous, like it's hard to get all those surfaces with disinfectant. Microphones are very delicate equipment, so disinfecting those is a challenge. The UVC light certainly is certainly probably the best method, but I don't know. I don't know how much I trust it. Personally, that's why I'm staying home. But you want to make sure that all the doors are open and like that the actor doesn't have to touch anything when they come in. They make sure that the actor doesn't get there at any earlier than session time. You know, if you're in the parking lot early, you stay in your car until it's time for the session to start. You get out of the car, you walk straight, like the door's open for you by the engineer, so you don't touch anything. You walk straight in. Some studios have even installed a way to remotely position the microphone for you, because everybody's a different height, and you usually stand in front of the microphone for a lot of different reasons that I won't get into. But so normally the engineer has to adjust the mic stand for you to get it positioned in front of your face. And they now, because of the fact that like social distancing is a thing, you don't want to have to come that close to anybody. So some studios have installed, I didn't even know this was a thing, but like a remote mic stand that you can just push a button and it goes up or down or whatever. So that's kind of cool. I know some places have done that so that you don't have to be up in the actor's face while you're adjusting the mic. Some are taking the approach of we let the actor adjust the mic themselves, which does involve having to touch stuff, but obviously everything gets disinfected. And I know they're trying to take the approach of like the engineer will come out and open the door and then go back into their room. Like they'll open all the doors for you, then they'll go back into their control room and shut the door. Then you come in, then they come out and they close all the doors. And so you never come face to face with anybody. Everybody's always wearing a mask up until the time that you start recording, and then the actor obviously has to take the mask off. These are some of the safety protocols that are in place. The big one that I champion is leave at least 3 hours of time between sessions, which if you're working with people remote, you can totally do and still maintain the same level of productivity, because you can bring somebody in the morning, then while you're waiting those 3 hours for the room to air out and everything, do a remote session with somebody who's recording from home, and then bring somebody new in the evening or whatever. So it's, I don't know, there's like I said, all of these are safety precautions that like different studios are doing different ones, Nobody's got their own, like, one set of precautions. And in my opinion, none of them are 100% adequate because we still don't know enough. And I feel like, you know, for me, none of that work, none of the work that I'm doing is worth getting sick and dying over, and it's certainly not worth getting other people sick and dying over. So I'd just as soon stay home and do it here, personally. Anyway, that was a big tangent. A folding one looks useful for portability. Yeah, that folding up isolation shield is kind of useful. I have something similar. There's kind of similar treatment options called one's called the Porta Booth. That's like a little box that's got, it's like one of those little folding dorm room storage containers that, like, you can fold it up into a flat little thing, but if you fold it out, it's a little, like, I don't know, 1 square foot or 2 square feet box, and then it's lined with studio foam, so it's portable because you can collapse it. But then when you're ready to set it up, you take it out and you put the foam in it and you set it up around your microphone. So that box has the studio foam in it, and it's all surrounding the microphone right in front of your face. Sort of kind of works. I used to have one. I've got another one called the Chaotica Eyeball that is a foam ball that, like, your microphone mounts inside of it, and it's got a pop filter on the front. It's a little smaller than the Porta Booth, which is nice for being able to see around. And it beats having nothing in terms of treatment. That's why I got it, is because I can take it on the road with me when I'm going to, well, when I was going to conventions. I could take it and use that to record auditions in hotel rooms. It's better than nothing, but obviously having a properly treated space is ideal for sure. I think if you ever did decide to move to Canada, you'd totally enjoy Vancouver. I know I would, Milkman Leroy. I'm a Canada-phile at heart. I would love to go to there. Nobody asks, what are you, Kyle? Who knows, Arcanum Symphonis? I think it's like I have so much specific knowledge of what I do that it's cool to hear about other people's different specific knowledge. Yeah, dude, expert opinions are something that I feel like the internet doesn't take seriously anymore. Everybody's like, with our society has gotten to this point where, like, everybody's opinion is valid. No, it's not. I'm sorry, but if somebody has studied for 15 years a specific subject, their opinion is more valid than somebody who hasn't studied on that specific subject if the opinion is about that subject. That's why I'm like, why aren't we listening to medical professionals when it comes to the coronavirus? That's their life. They know about all of this crap. We don't. Can we just listen to them, please? Anyway, let's see. A lot of anime is technically dubbed to in Japanese. I mean, yeah, that's true actually, because in Japan they do all of, they, like, here in America when we're doing original animation, we record all the voiceover first. Like, maybe they've done some storyboards first where we can look at a reference picture while we're recording things. But that's the most that we ever do for original animation. And in Japan, they do all of the animation, almost all of it at least, before they get the voiceover actors into the booth. So yeah, it is dubbing, pretty much. It's a very different approach to things. We only do that when we're localizing someone else's content. Like with anime. Seiyu has talked about getting the finished animation, doing a test run, and then doing the actual recording live as it goes. Yes, exactly, Steel Neko. I know there's quite a bit of variation in how anime is recorded too. I saw that on Amazon Prime Japan. Sorry. Did Infinity Train do group recordings? Yes. But because of the fact that Infinity Train has a lot of big names, either big names in the voiceover world or big names that are, you know, TV stars or even some that are bigger names than that even. That was a situation where, like, there were a lot of sessions where I would go in to record with a group, and it would be me and one or maybe two other actors, and the rest of the cast they would get later because they were too busy with their on-camera careers to be able to make the scheduled session. So yeah, that's different. Oh right, Kyle's character is a lead in the next Infinity Train season, right? Yeah, I am. I'm so excited that you guys know that now. Yeah, the poster came out. I don't know when it's hitting, but it's hitting HBO Max, which is different than what I was expecting. I thought it was going to be on Cartoon Network. It was a Cartoon Network show in seasons 1 and 2. Kind of makes sense that it's going to HBO Max now, I think. And I'm hoping that means more people will see it. I have no idea. No idea what it'll mean for the audience, but I love the show. It was a blast to be a part of, and I hope you guys all watch it because it's cool. But you will need to see seasons 1 and 2 for season 3 to make any sense. It's short. They're 10-minute episodes or 11-minute episodes or something, and there's like 10 per season. So you don't have to binge through a whole lot to get caught up. Antithesis to people who want to micromanage everything. I don't know what that means. Sorry, because I'm so far back in the conversation with you guys here. I probably ought to catch up. Stop going on these tirades. You've done a lot of different voices, from doing the wise old guy voice to the insane 9S one. What type of characters do you like voicing the most? The ones that are interesting. Honestly, like, it's fun to do the wacky, zany character voices, but I've done enough of that in my career that now I'm, like, all I really care about is getting the chance to play interesting characters. It is definitely fun to play interesting characters that are of a different type than what I usually play. But as long as it's an interesting character or or contributing to an interesting story, that's what gets me excited creatively. What other games you've played would be improved by having surprise high stakes rhythm games? All of them, Steel Neko. That's so cool. And now today I learned Kyle is in the Beyblade show. Yeah, I'm in Beyblade Burst Turbo. I play Suo. In the last, not the current season, but the season before. I want to see Kyle in the Kingdom Hearts series. Yeah, that'd be fun. Xehanort, I don't know it. I'm not familiar with the franchise. Oh, hey, Pod is still sending links to the multi-stream. Oopsie. Forgot to turn that off. A little late now. There's no multi-stream right now, because that was Thursday night. Do you plan to attend conventions again when they start happening again? Hopefully 2021, but whenever it's safe for them, I suppose. So I got invited to one, actually, that's happening like next weekend in Florida, and I don't think that's remotely safe yet. So in terms of when they start happening, probably not, because they're already happening. They're gonna start. More of them are going to start happening long before it's really safe for them to, in my opinion. But yes, I want to go back to doing conventions. I love going out and meeting fans face to face. It's like doing this is great, but that face to face interaction with you guys is so much better. So I want to go do that again, but I'm not going to do it before it's safe. I don't want to encourage other people to come to those unsafe locales. And you know, the reason that they bring guests out is because it's supposed to bring more attendees in. So I don't want to contribute to making people risk their lives to come and meet me. And I certainly don't want to risk my own life to do that either. So 2021 probably at the earliest at this point, based on the trajectory of things currently. We'll see. I don't know, man. I'm seeing some things like, you know, most vaccines take 15 years on average, or 10 years or something on average. Obviously, we're going to fast track the COVID vaccine, but it's still, like, we were saying a year, you know, early on, but that's the fastest it could possibly be developed. That's not likely. I think we're looking at 3 to 5 years optimistically. I don't know. Like, Get comfy, everybody, because this is life for a little while. Anyway, Sam Riegel from Critical Role, who talked about shaving a spot for mocap. Oh yeah, no, it's anybody that does mocap, man. If you're doing mocap, you gotta shave off the beard. Don't. It looks so good, especially with the glasses. Thanks, DJ Music Studio. Yeah, I want to keep this because I did shave it all off early in the quarantine. Those of you who watch the Twitch channel regularly will remember, and it looked atrocious because I've gained a lot of weight in this portion since the last time it was clean shaven. Doesn't look good. Don't like it. I want to keep this, but if I get the chance to do some cool mocap work, I'll bite that bullet for sure. You guys will all know when it happens if I'm still Twitch streaming as regularly as I am right now. I'm gonna kind of skim quickly because I want to get caught up and I'm getting further behind. Catching up with the chat. I think Kyle's only question after playing the Drakengard games is how far does the rabbit hole go? Yeah, accurate. For sure. Who is Accord and why does she walk so weird? That is definitely one of my questions. Yep. Oh, that's why everything got buried so much, because you guys were playing pod mini games. I've been a little shy to say hi, but hi. Hope everyone is having a good day. Hey, Brambleclaw11, good to see you. Thank you so much for speaking up. I appreciate you being here. I don't want to get sappy, but I wanted to say that NieR Automata got me out of a bad time months ago, and since Nines is my fave, you helped too, so thanks. You did a great job as him. Thank you so much, Karisu Sparta. I'm glad to hear that. I mean, I'm not glad to hear that you were in a bad time, but I'm glad that the game helped. And I love hearing those kinds of things. So I'm glad you're doing better now, and thank you for expressing that. I appreciate that. I recently played NieR Automata. I think you did an excellent job as 9S. Congratulations on being part of such a great game. Thank you, XDV123. Appreciate that. Nightlight asks, thank you. Exactly my point about opinions. Yeah, seriously. Milkman Leroy. Well, I'll tell you what, Kyle. If there's anything you want from Canada, ketchup or all-dressed chips, some kind of Canadian staple, please let me know. I'd be more than happy to mail you out a Canadian care package. Appreciate that, Milkman. I don't know if it's safe right now, but can we ship him a crate of Timbits? Nice. God, you know, if this pandemic makes it feasible for people to do what I do without living in Los Angeles, it's gonna be hard to convince Caitlin because she's been a Southern California girl all her life, but I would love to get out personally. I like I've come to accept living in Los Angeles, but if I don't have to, I wouldn't mind going somewhere where it's cheaper, where it feels safer, and honestly, Canada would be at the top of my list right now. Anyway, or maybe Denver, because then I could go watch my Colorado Avalanche games all the time. I don't know. Anyway, convention in Florida, what could go wrong? I didn't say it, you did. Absolutely do not come to Florida. Wow. Everybody's chiming in on that topic. I'm in Florida right now, and I'm planning on ditching it in 5 days. Hey there, love your stream, been watching for a while, and finally made an account, LOL. I don't know what to say, so I hope you're having a great day. Well, I hope you are too, Kelp Forest. Thank you so much for being here and watching the show. I love the lurkers just as much as the regulars, but it's always nice to be able to talk to you guys, so thanks for making the account to say hi. Anime Matsuri in late July was only canceled on Wednesday because the governor forcibly shut it down. Yeah, that was a good call. I think it was actually not the governor, I think it was the mayor of Houston. I'm not positive. Oh, thank you, that just made my entire day. Oh, I'm so glad, Brambleclaw. All right, peace out, everyone. Hope you all had a great time. Thank you so much, True in the Blue. Take care. You got to do what you can for the ones you love. Kyle McCarley, so respect to you. Thank you, Milkman Leroy. Kyle saved me from the East Coast, says Chessabunny. All right, I'm caught up in the chat. Now we can actually have a dialogue where I respond to things in real time. Sorry, I went off on diatribes there, and like my tangents. I get to talking, and I just don't stop. Where did I leave my water? I need water. Give me just a second. That's better. All right. All right. Welcome to the present, Kyle. Oh, thank you, Karisu Sparta. I'm glad to be here. Got some Hacker Clan thumbs ups. What video game has made you cry? Well, NieR and NieR Automata. Automata probably because of the fact that I got to be a part of it, and it was so touching. But NieR, I definitely teared up at some parts. Be careful with that glass of water. Yeah, I have a history of... That's why I usually use those sippy cups. I'm setting it on a hard surface, though. I'm not putting it next to me on the futon anymore. That was a bad idea. How much water do you usually drink when you're recording? Yeah, on a work day, on a day where I've got sessions going, I will go through a lot of water. If I have this full glass in front of me at the start of a session, it's probably gone by like 45 minutes in. Typically, if it's more than a 2-hour session, we'll take breaks roughly every hour, maybe every hour and a half. So I'll go and refill it every time there's a break, and drain it pretty quickly again. I like my water. I like to be hydrated. Which means I have to run to the restroom all the damn time because I drink lots of water. If I'm not working though, I tend to let it go, and that's when I start getting headaches. So, yeah. If you suffer from frequent headaches, try drinking more water, because it seems to help me. I don't know. Don't forget Drakengard, over 20 clips worth of cries. Different kind of crying, DJ Music Studio. That's more like sanity points lost, not cries. Yeah, seriously. Humans be drinking water. Yeah. You know, when I was growing up, I drank a lot of 7-Up and Sprite, like the lemon lime sodas. My parents were pretty strict. Like they kind of had a rule that I was like, it wasn't super strict, but they gave me the rule of, hey, no more than one of those per day. So I kind of sort of adhered to that even when I got to adulthood. And at some point I just kind of decided, you know what, I don't really need it, and I stopped drinking soda at all for a long time, and now I stick to, and then I started sticking to water just for almost everything. I'll drink soda on occasion when I feel like it. Maybe I'll go for a root beer. Maybe I'll go for actually usually it'll be a root beer or a cream soda or something if I'm doing soda at all, or pop or Coke, depending on what part of the world you live in. When I grew up, it was pop. In Kansas, it's pop. In California, it's soda. That was an adjustment. But it's mostly water. And now I've started doing a lot of Gatorade too, which probably not as great as water, but it's not as bad as soda. So I don't know. Kyle, opinions on potential. Oh, how many times? Sorry, I'll get to that one in a second. Chessa Bunny, Nightlight S. How many times did you get a sore throat after or during a recording? If you are doing that, you're probably doing something wrong. But there are times where if it gets super emotional and super loud, like with NieR Automata, you can't really avoid it. So it doesn't happen often, but it has happened for sure. I had to rest for like 3 days to get my voice back up into shape after one NieR Automata session. I feel like I've gotten better at keeping the voice intact since then. Kyle, opinions on potentially playing a horror game, not like a jump scare game, but an actual spooky ambiance game. I did a Halloween. Well, I guess that was a jump scare game. Playing what was that? Amnesia, I think. I don't like it. It's unsettling. But those are the jump scare things. I also played Until Dawn, not on stream. I love the genre of the game, but I would prefer it not be horror personally. I've never been a fan of horror in general. I do find that horror video games are significantly more frightening and terrifying than horror movies are, but the genre in general just has never really interested me that much. It's pop here in Canada. That's interesting. I didn't know that. Is that all across Canada, Milkman? That it's like that? Opinions or options. I think you meant opinions. On the NHL continuing its season, my hometown was picked to host half the teams, and I'm wary about COVID. Steel Neko, personally, like, I'm going to be watching because I'm a huge hockey fan, and it's going to be fun from a spectator standpoint because it's going to be like March Madness on steroids, but with playoff hockey instead of college basketball. So that's going to be crazy. There's going to be so much hockey happening throughout the month of August and September. So I'm looking forward to it as a fan. From a humanitarian standpoint, I think it's a mistake. I think they should have called the season, and they should be postponing the next season for the next 8 months minimum, probably. That's kind of my opinion in terms of professional sports in general, but especially indoor ones. It shouldn't be happening right now. I'm curious to see how many of the players bow out. For those who don't follow the NHL, by the way, just to get you up to speed, they put the season on pause with about 12 or 13 games left in the season, depending on which team you're talking about. Somewhere around there, 12 or 13 games left in the season. They put the season on pause when the country finally started taking COVID seriously, and they decided that they were going to continue things by going to an extended playoff bracket with some of the teams that were kind of on the verge of making the playoffs. So they're going straight into the playoffs, but it's extended. So more teams are in the mix for the playoff hunt, and those teams that were kind of on the verge have to do a play-in to get into the actual proper playoff bracket. And everything is happening in 2 cities. The Eastern Conference is playing in Toronto. The Western Conference is playing in Edmonton. All of it's happening on the same rink in those two places. And there's no fans that are allowed to be in attendance. All the players have to live basically the bubble lifestyle where they go to the rink, they play their game, they go back to the hotel, and they stay in the hotel room pretty much, and that's it. I think the hotels are like every floor is for one team, and I think they're allowed to go down to the restaurant if they want. But it's completely self-quarantine, like self-contained. Like nobody from outside of the league is allowed in at all. Basically ever. There are some exceptions where they can leave to go home for like if their wife has a baby or something, but that's kind of it. So that's the protocol that they decided to take, and they had to put it to a vote to the players, and the players voted in favor of it. The report I saw said it was like 78.8% in favor. So there were like 135 players who voted no, which is interesting to me. I feel like that's a significant number of players saying, I don't feel safe. And now they have until Monday afternoon or evening, depending on your time zone, to decide whether or not they're actually going to go play. Every player has the option to opt out without any penalties, and without having to provide an excuse or a reason or whatever. I'm real interested to see how many players take that option, because obviously not all 135 players who voted no are going to opt out. Probably not all of them are on playoff teams, and there's probably some indication if you're paying attention to who's been going to the optional practices at this point. But anyway, I think it's a mistake. I hope that it's not a costly one. They're obviously taking some pretty extreme precautions. I doubt, for those of you who live in Edmonton or Toronto, I very much doubt that having those playoff games taking place there is going to increase the risk to society at large in that city, because of the fact that everything is so contained. But there's still just so many people involved, like with, you know, every team has to have something like 100 people on hand to make everything happen, I think. So with that many teams involved and that many people for each team involved, it seems like it would be so easy for everything to go out of hand. They do have to, everybody who's around has to get tested every 48 hours, and they have to get results every 24 hours, within 24 hours. So they are going to be monitoring things pretty closely, but it just seems so easy to make a mistake. I don't think they will. I hope they won't. But I think somebody, like at some point, somebody's going to test positive. With that many people, I think that's just a foregone conclusion. And it's just a matter of how soon they catch it, with how far it spreads, I think, within that bubble. So that's my opinion. I think it's a mistake. I don't think they should do it, but they're doing it, and I'm going to watch because I'm a big fan. Let's see. I saw that the Canucks made it, I think. Rocking my Matt Sundin jersey today. Yeah. Oh, I got to scroll back a little ways. Crap. Okay, here we go. I found a good Yoko Taro interview on the YouTube channel Archipel. It has many interviews with various Japanese artists, including Keiichi Okabe. That's cool. That's cool. I love horror games a lot, says Linda. Yeah. Resident Evil jump scares. Yo, Kyle, Pacify sounds like a fun game to play with the Donut Boys. Ever heard of it? I have not, Nightlight S. Tell me more. What if you had to dub a horror game character and then you had to play the game since you play everything you had to roll in? Yeah, I would. Yeah, and that would definitely get me playing a horror game, and I would hate every minute of it, but also enjoy it immensely at the same time. That's kind of the way that those horror games go. As far as I can tell, as far as you can tell, everybody says pop. Gotcha. Always been pop. But when I travel to the U.S., it's soda. Seattle, I find they call it soda or pop, probably because they're so close to us. That's interesting. I didn't know that. Yeah, because the West Coast is mostly soda. The East Coast, I think, in the U.S. is mostly soda. It's the Midwest that uses pop, and the South, and like Texas, well, parts of the South anyway, use Coke for everything. One of those colloquialisms. I can confirm with Milkman Leroy, pop in Canada here. Nice. If Europe can cancel Eurovision, then hockey can cancel as well, right? Sometimes England is sensible. Once in a blue moon, right? Our premiere sold our city as an NHL hub, was gorgeous, with gorgeous videos of mountain vistas, which are a 5-hour drive away, right? I think part of the reason, I think the reason that Edmonton and Toronto were picked is because there's, like, they've got the virus pretty well under control, you know? Vancouver, I know, was in the mix at one point, but they bowed out because they didn't feel like the NHL was being strict enough with their precautions, which is pretty substantial. I don't think it's going to do much to provide an influx for the economy in those two cities, though. That's the thing that's kind of crappy, is like I feel like there were cities that were vying to be those hub cities. And I don't think they're going to get a whole lot out of it because of the fact that no fans can go watch the games, you know? Like, maybe there'll be a little bit of a boost to the economy there, but not much. Anyway. The Evil Within 2 might be enough down your alley. I don't know. I still think Kyle should play Alice Madness Returns. I don't know anything about that. Atlanta, can I get a Coke? What kind of Coke? Yeah, right. Ever played any Final Fantasy games? I played Final Fantasy X. That was kind of it for me in terms of my Final Fantasy experience. I watched a little bit of some other ones. I don't even remember which game my cousin was playing when I went and visited and saw him play it. It might have been 3. I don't know. It was an old one for sure. I watched a friend of mine play through 10-2. I saw a whole lot of 15 because James was living with me and he was playing through it. And I'm in it you know, in the way that I'm in Last of Us Part 2. I did some additional voices for it, so I'm in there somewhere. I never heard it, never found my name in the credits, which was upsetting. But I did work on it. Nightlight says Pacify is a horror game where 4 guys enter a haunted house and get chased by a demonic-like girl who goes berserk every time someone does something stupid. Oh yeah, that sounds like exactly the game we should be playing on the Quarren stream. Thank you, Nightlight S. I'll check that out. I love FF10, Kyle. You should play 10 too. I got enough of 10-2 from watching it, honestly. I don't need to do more of it. Read an interview on Taro where he remarked that he had always been arrogant, not just when he got popular. Considering the ideas that his game presents, it's very apparent that he is no pushover when it comes to letting his ideas go. That's a fact, Eric Ziva. I don't know how to say your name, but yeah. He will not let go of creative control, for sure. Just Eric's. All right. I need the NieR raid. Need part 2. Yeah, I know. I know you're waiting for it. That's why I'm just going to wait till they're all out. I think that's my plan. Just wait till all 3 raids are available, and then I'll jump in. I would say to start with FF7. The FF7 remake, I'm in that. In a few places. That's an idea. I could play some of the games that I've just done bit parts for, and we could just hunt for myself in them. I have a potentially dumb question. For video games, how much budget should one set aside for voice acting work for a cast of about 3 to 4 main characters or bigger speaking roles and a few minor ones here and there? So I would say, I mean, I don't know, like, I can't tell you percentage-wise because I don't know how much budget you're working with in terms of the rest of stuff. But to pay actors fairly, a lot of indie video games, I know there's a low-budget video game contract available with SAG-AFTRA that I believe sets the rate at roughly is it 200? Is it that low? Either 200 an hour or 250 an hour, roughly. In terms of hourly rate, like per hour in the studio. And in terms of how long it takes to get through that dialogue, it's, video games, it depends on how much of the dialogue is really like dialogue, meaty stuff, and how much of it is just that short, quick battle chatter stuff, like grenade, you know, whatever. We could get through, some actors could get through that battle chatter dialogue 300 lines in an hour, no sweat. But if it's lots of actual story dialogue, conversational stuff, that takes a little bit longer. You're probably looking at around 80 to 100 lines an hour, maybe somewhere in there. Or if you're going super slow snail's pace, maybe 60 lines in an hour or even less. So I don't know. Hopefully that gives you some ballpark. If you're doing a low budget game, I think the low budget threshold is still a pretty substantial number. So if you're an indie video game developer working by yourself, you'll have no problems qualifying for that contract. And I would recommend going union with it, because of the fact that you'll get access to better actors, and better studios and stuff like that. So go union with it, because that's the way to support the industry, really, the voice acting industry. Time to save up. Yeah. Yeah, sorry. I know it sounds like a lot, but you're paying for years and years of training and experience, not just our time in the booth. Kyle searches for himself. Kyle straight up forgot he was in Code Vein. Dude, it's not that I forgot I was in Code Vein, it's that I thought it was a completely different game when I worked on it. Because of code names. It was called God Eater something. It might have even been called God Eater Code Vein, but because of the fact that I saw God Eater, I thought it was DLC for God Eater 3. And I was like, hey, guys, do I need to make sure that the voice I'm doing doesn't sound like Zeke? Because he's in God Eater 3 and I'm a main character in God Eater 3. And they're like, no, don't worry about it. Completely different thing. That didn't register with me that it was a completely different game. I thought it was DLC. So that's why I got so confused. I left a link in your Discord with Pacify. It's available on Steam. Thank you, Nightlight S. I will check that out. There's plenty of instances of you in Code Vein. Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. Man, I love this stream. Really helps get me out of my shy zone. Oh, thanks, DJ Music Studio. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, I haven't done a Q&A like this in a while, but I had time, so I'm glad I did it. Code Vein has God Eater stuff. Yeah, I know. I think at one point they thought they were going to call it a God Eater game. Because it's made by the same people. I don't know. I don't know what happened, all right? I'm sorry that I didn't realize I was in the game. I think I had more than one session on it too. That's what's really embarrassing. Typically, when I forget my involvement in something, it's one of those really short, like an hour-long thing. Anyway. Makes perfect sense, helps put things into perspective, and gives me a good idea on how much to put aside for voice actors. Thanks a ton for answering. Yeah, no problem. Thoughts on Sino Alice? I don't have any. I haven't really checked it out yet. Yeah, I think I should stream some of that. I think that'd be fun. Just because it's in the Taro verse. I just need to take a break from him for a little bit because he wrecked me with that damn boss fight last week. That's the end of my water, guys. So, and we're 3 hours into the broadcast, or close to it. So I might be wrapping things up pretty soon. Get your questions in now. The NieR Automata collab starts the 16th if you want to get the boy. Oh, okay. All right. Throwing in some Automata characters into Sino Alice. That's fun. Sino Alice should have been a rhythm game. Shut up, Emil. That's fair. Take your Taro break. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do is go back to God Eater 3, because I already started it once upon a time. I know it was only one broadcast, but go back to that, finish that up. Maybe do a little one-off something with River City Girls or something, because I've been talking about it for a while. Will you read through Zero's novella at some point? You know, yeah, that kind of content is a lot of fun to do. I'm not gonna say yes, but I'm definitely not gonna say no. I'll look into it. H-U-W-A? I don't know how to say your name. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'll look into it, because I don't want to do anything that's gonna get me into like copyright trouble or anything like that. But if it hasn't been put out in the West, like in any official format, just shorten it like Hugh. All right, got it. Hugh, got it. So yeah, if there's no like official translation like what we did with the concert scripts, I would love to do that kind of thing again. That's a lot of fun. What doesn't have a NieR Automata collab by now? Can I say that I like your role as Narancia? Do like your role. Call me a weirdo, but I usually hear the dub Narancia voice when reading Zidane's dialogue in FF9. Can't wait for the last episode of Golden Wind. Oh, I'm so glad you like it, Zero the Hero. Yeah, it was a pleasure to be a part of. Narancia is a fun character to play. The rhythm final boss on Drakengard 1 is really intimidating. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm not looking forward to that either, but hopefully it's easier than the Drakengard 3 one. There is an official translation, though. It came in one of the limited editions of Drakengard 3. Okay. So I'll think about it. I don't know. We'll see. I think there's rarely any official English translation for stuff like that. Yeah, and that definitely makes it like that feels like it takes it out of the gray area for me a little bit more in terms of the legality of it. But anyway. By the way, were you in High Score Girl? I was. I played a character that was so much fun. What was his name? Crap. I can't remember. It's killing me. It's on the tip of my tongue, but I cannot remember. He was a little bit effeminate. He always had sparkles around his face. I loved that show. I had a lot of fun. It's one of the only times actually that I have cracked to the breaking point in a voiceover session, because I was actually at the same studio a couple times in a row, because it was that show and it was another one, but that show, there was a line of dialogue happening in the background from a character that Christina V voiced that was really like it was just like this really like atrocious nerdy girl. The show's very funny. High Score Girl. Check it out on Netflix. She's running around in the background. I can't even remember what line it was because she had some great ones where she was talking about like, I need to see if you have a bone in your penis and stuff like that. And I think the line that was getting me, because I had a line that was happening in the foreground, and she's running around in the background just shouting the word penis over and over in that goofy voice. And they had to mute her because I was laughing so much I couldn't get through the line. And there was another moment in another show at the same studio that I don't know if it's ever going to get a U.S. release, which is really depressing because it's another really funny show. But I had a line of dialogue that, so we use a lot of times, at least for animation dubs, it's typically the 3-beep method of dubbing, where at least in America, where we'll go one line at a time, and we'll preview it once in the original language, where we'll get some pre-roll before it gets to the line, and you'll hear beep, 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 and then on the imaginary 4th beep, that's when the line starts. So you'll preview it once in the original language, and then they'll mute the original language, but you'll still hear the beeps, and you'll still usually hear, if they have them, the music and the sound effects in your headphones. So you'll hear the beep, 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 and then you start acting. You do your line. There was this one line on this show where, like, in the sound effects, there was a sound effect on the track that was hysterical to me because somebody was squirting suntan lotion into their hand or something, and it came in right after the 2nd beep. So it went beep, 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 and then I was supposed to go. But that sound effect was so grody sounding. It was so much worse than I could do with my mouth, that every time when we got to that 4th beep, I would be like, it's like we did the preview and I laughed at it then. I was like, oh, that's funny. All right, let's go. Beep, beep, beep. I'm sorry. Let's do it again. I got it. I'm ready. Beep, beep, beep. I can't do it. I'm sorry. And they had to, we tried it 3 or 4 times before they were finally like, we're muting the sound effects track for you. You can't have that in your headphones now for this line. It never happens to me, but it happened on that one. It just tickled my funny bone. Let's see. Going back. Okay. I loved it too, but it's not something you can play in the car with your friend. Oh, at least the Drakengard 3 rhythm games uses a decent song. The song for Drakengard 1 rhythm game is something. Hey, I love that song. Okay, nice. Greetings, Professor. Nothing to report. Hey, thanks so much for that gift subscription, DJ Music Studio. Welcome to Hacker Clan, to Amphora. I'm not sure if you pronounce that E or not. But welcome to Hacker Clan. Enjoy your emotes. Scrolling back, catching up real quick. The English version of Drakengard was heavily censored by Western audiences, because boy, is that a bunch of horrible. I'll lock my friends in the car and blast it. What are you talking? Nice. Doi! That was his name. Doi. That was the character in High Score Girl. Thank you, Linda. There will be a new game from Taro this year, NieR Reincarnation. Are you planning to find a way to stream that one because it's going to be a mobile game? Yes, I do plan on playing through it because I love NieR. I am absolutely going to play that. Which characters you voiced do you relate to? I mean, gosh, so many different aspects of so many of them. Relating to Mob is easy because everybody can remember the innocence of childhood. I hope you can remember it. And he is just the epitome of that. Relating to, I don't know. The thing is that so many characters live through experiences that are not ideal for real life, because that's what makes stories interesting. And I've had a pretty charmed life, so I haven't had to deal with a whole lot of trials and tribulations like those. But there are aspects of every character that you have to relate to, because otherwise you're terrible at portraying them. So I don't know. I feel like I'm doing a really bad job of answering this question. But Alm is another one that I can definitely draw some parallels to, because he came from a small town, and then you know, there was an upheaval when he. Well, I mean, his upheaval was a little different than mine, but I moved to a big city from a small town, and that was different, for sure. Yeah, I don't know. I hope that's a substantial answer for you. Party Panic is another game I'm sure you can enjoy with the boys. I bet Nightlight S. We've got a whole lot on our list of stuff that we want to play through at some point. Take a look at my enormous penis. I love that song, Zero the Hero. That's a great song. A little birdie told me you used to produce audio dramas with Foley, and I should ask you about how you put that together. Hey, Hey, Lucian. I just now noticed that you're in the chat. I'm sorry. I'm catching up. Yeah, I used software. I'm trying to remember what the software was called. It wasn't great, though, Lucian. Whatever I used kind of degraded the sound quality a little bit. So if I had my druthers, I would use QLab from, but it's a Mac only program. If you've got a Mac handy, I would pump that into your audio chain somehow from QLab, because it is great. It's what they use for a lot of theatrical productions to play sound cues on command. I think they can even control lights with it. It's really cool. So if you're doing live audio dramas like I'm talking about here, QLab is the way to go for sure. I think SoundQ Studio for Windows might have been what I used, or it might be something that I have used in the past. QLab's also completely free. That's the other thing that's really great about it. But there are alternatives for Windows that sort of kind of work for that. I don't know if the ones that are free are not great, because they downgrade the quality for some reason. The ones that are not free are better, but still not as good as QLab. So that would be my favorite, for sure. Don't worry, I don't know how to say it either. Your performance was so good, entertaining, and hilarious on High Score Girl. I just... Oh, thanks, DJ Music Studio. I love that. 9S also went crazy because of Rhythm Game. Yeah, nice. Why are cookies called cookies and not bakies? You don't cook a cookie, you bake them. Good question, Simsy. But you know, in England, they call them biscuits. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's any better. I'm scared that later NieR raids will become a fishing and rhythm game. Your upheaval involved being all, yeah. What type of scripts did you use, and where did you pull them from? Finding something that's public domain but entertaining is a bit of a hurdle right now. Oh, okay. So going way back into my podcasting days, Lucian, we wrote stuff. We had a group of like 8 or 10 people that were involved in doing live audio dramas. On a podcast we called Tales from Your Mom's Basement. I don't know if any of the files are available for download anywhere anymore. And it was to varying degrees of success, but different people wrote different episodes for every week of the show. Actually, I think we only did the show every 2 weeks or something like that. So we did that. We also, for 1 or 2 episodes, pulled scripts from the public domain, like from really old radio dramas. I think we pulled something from The Green Hornet. And actually, my buddy Eric and I, it was after Tales from Your Mom's Basement, actually, we found old radio drama scripts from a series of Batman and Superman stuff. I can't remember if it was I think it was from a Superman radio drama, but it was a crossover adventure where Batman was involved. And it was the main characters were Superman and Robin, because Batman had something going off in his brain for some reason. But they were super old, super crappy scripts, and Eric and I stood side by side in front of a camera and put and played did the whole thing, playing different characters. He's still got the videos that he uses as his pre-show on twitch.tv/TheEricTV. So when he's about to go live, he plays those old videos from the Superman radio dramas we did, where we stood in front of the camera and we would switch one thing from our costume. Like, I had a Batman mask that I just held up to my face and did the Batman voice, and then I'd take it away, and I had like this weird like button-up rainbow shirt tied in like a little Britney Spears knot over a really tight-fitting Robin t-shirt that I borrowed from Laura, who's way smaller than me, that I was wearing as Robin. And Eric had a cape that he had on when he was playing Superman, and like glasses that he put up when he was playing Clark Kent or something. And like just various little things like that we did to just differentiate costumes, really quick change costumes from one character to the next. That was a lot of fun. Like, honestly, it's cool to do the really overproduced, really proper radio play stuff, but it's also kind of fun to do it when it's not great material. To do it badly is almost more fun. So yeah, wow, what a bunch of nerds. Yeah, exactly. Ew, writing. Yeah, I know. But I also did one on this stream once upon a time, Lucian, that people were talking about earlier in the chat, where we took a fan translation of the NieR Automata concert scripts that were only released it only happened in Japan, and they never released an official translation of it. So not exactly public domain, but I don't know, I felt like there was enough gray area on it because of the fact that it never got a US release, that it was kosher. And I never got into trouble for it, so I don't know if that helps. Why is cheesecake not called cheese pie? Hacker Clan chat is always asking the serious existential questions. That's right, Funky Fly Guy. We do have cookies. They're just very specific types of biscuits. Ah, I see. Biscuits and cookies are two separate things. I didn't realize that. In Kellen's JoJo charity stream, there was a request for the VAs to say the original stand name, but you weren't there for that part yet. Could you say Aerosmith in Narancha's voice? All right. Lil Bomber, go! Okay, so Aerosmith! There you go. How's that, Zero the Hero? You know, a lot of the names get changed in the English translation because of trademarks, which obviously, but a lot of them they do some fun puns with and stuff, and I feel like they missed their chance with Lil Bomber. Lil Bomber could have been, you know, Plane Right, or, you know, something that would have been fun, sort of kind of Aerosmithy sounding. There is a line between dad jokes and nerd jokes. What a bunch of nerds, yeah. I heard that Golden Wind has a video game. Is that something you'd think about playing? Sure. Yeah, actually, there's a lot of anime that has never been dubbed or never been localized that has anime-related video games that has never been localized that I have to do with the anime. So like there's Gundam video games that I've thought about playing in the past that could be fun. I remember that Narancia and Giorno in that game were voiced by women. Really? Oh, well, yeah, Narancia in, I think Narancia in the original Japanese might have been voiced by no. Maybe. Might have been voiced by a woman. I can't remember. Cool room, dude. Oh, thanks, Golden Witch. Have you ever been surprised when a character you have played has lasted longer than you expected or not been killed off? Yeah, actually, Helbram in Seven Deadly Sins. Because he did get killed off. And then he came back. And then he get killed off again. And then he came back again. He kept dying, and he kept coming back. And honestly, the last, like, he came back as, like, a forced, like, Obi-Wan's ghost the last time. And I was like, okay, that bit's done. The Helbram's done. He's not coming back. And he still came back again after they did that bit. So, yeah, that one surprised me. I've also had the pleasure, well, I don't know if this is true or not, but I'm working on a show where I was playing a character that was kind of ancillary, like just kind of like on the fringe, in a cartoon. And in the first season, because they'd already written all the scripts for it by the time we started recording, but in the first season, I feel like the creators of the show, as we started recording, they were like, "Ooh, we really like this character. That's fun." And now we're working on the second season now, and he's a lot more prevalent than he was in the first season. So that's kind of cool to be able to be like, I was just kind of this side character, but because of the fact that the creators just like him, they've started to work him into the story more. So that's fun. As it turns out, people do not always die when they're killed. Yeah, I know. Spoiler alert, super late for the Seven Deadly Sins discussion. If you try and make a Venn diagram of dad and nerd jokes, they would just become a full circle. Narancia's a dude who looks like a lady. Oh, nice. Nice joke. I like that. I always laugh at Boys to Men getting changed to Boy Man Man. Ace Attorney doing all these English puns. Larry Butts with people miscalling him Harry Butts, and the famous saying in the game is, something smells, it's usually the butts. Those are the kinds where English translation rocks, yeah. Which character that you voiced has the coolest name, in your opinion? The coolest name? I don't know. I forget the names half the time, honestly. Gosh. Maybe... Maybe it would be... Oh, see you later, Arcanum Symphonis. Gosh, I'm trying to think through... Let's see, there's Mob, there's Narancia, there's Ichimatsu, 9S. I'm trying to think, like, I feel like I've heard names that have made me go, ooh, that's a cool name. That guy gets it because of that name. And I'm trying to think of who it was. It might not have been my character. Suo Genji sounds cool. It does, but the last name never stuck with me. It was always just Suo. And Suo by itself didn't sound that cool to me. Watari in Your Lie in April. He's got kind of a cool name. Ryota Watari. I have a question, if I may. I'm not sure how valid it is, though, but a voice actor's about the only one who can answer it. Hit me, Golden Witch. there's a stand called Limp Bizkit, and it's changed to Flaccid Pancake. Yeah. I love some of those translation names in JoJo. They're great. Mikazuki. Yeah, Mikazuki August. That's a pretty cool name, actually. I like that one, too. There's one that keeps coming to my mind, but it's kind of under NDA, so I can't share that one. Blue Fire from One Punch Man. Yeah. I played one in an anime that I think has come out somewhere in the world, but not in the US. A Marvel Avengers anime. Oh crap, now I can't remember his name. Blizzard. That's what it was. I hope I'm not still under NDA on that one. I think it came out. I think I remember seeing it somewhere. It doesn't ever come out. I don't know if it's ever going to come out in America though. Discourse anime. No, it was like the Young Avengers or something like that. Like the next generation of Avengers or whatever is the concept of the show. I can't remember what it's called. I came up with a replacement name for the Fast and the Furious, the Slow and the Moderately Angry. Yeah. How good are you at Overwatch? Do you have a favorite hero or voice line? In terms of favorite heroes to play in Overwatch, I like playing Junkrat and Mei, and basically all of the support heroes. I like to do like mystery heroes and stuff. Mystery heroes and mystery deathmatch. So I don't really have a main. Once upon a time my main was Lucio. But I do like mystery heroes and mystery deathmatch. I don't play proper Overwatch, really. Not my jam. And honestly, I haven't played Overwatch in a while. I've kind of like I don't want to go into that. Never mind. not publicly. But I haven't played Overwatch in a while. I'll say that much. Wasn't there more to that question though? Do I have a favorite hero or voice line? Honestly, in terms of, I like McCree, with all of his voice lines. I think those are great. Those are fun. I got to record some voiceover for a character who is like my impression of Matt Mercer's McCree, which is a lot of fun doing that voice. It doesn't work at a distance from the microphone. I gotta get like right up on it because I gotta get that deep bassy sound. Hey, it's high noon somewhere in the world. You know, it doesn't sound right from here, but if I get right up on that mic, it's pretty good. I like it. How do voice actors manage to voice some of these rather controversial lines or those that have sensible topics? Can be anything. I have no clue how people can block off certain lines that can be very controversial. Something like Danganronpa. So I don't know anything about Danganronpa, so I'm not really sure about specifically what your question pertains to here, Golden Witch. But in terms of controversial subject matter, one example that I can point to is I am the voice of Shinji Mato in Fate Stay Night, and I in Heaven's Feel Part 2, things get really uncomfortable with him and his sister Sakura. We learn things about their past and present that are really disturbing as a viewer. But in terms of how I come to terms with that is like I know that I am part of a story, and even though I'm playing a despicable human being, doing things that I would never in a million years consider doing, and saying things that I would never consider saying in real life, I'm contributing to a narrative that I think has purpose, has meaning. I'm not playing a character that you're supposed to sympathize with. I'm playing the enemy, you know. So you kind of adjust to things that way. You recognize that while this person that you are giving voice to is not you, is not someone that you agree with in any way, shape, or form, that they have a place within the story, and so you do, or well, you say the things that they say, because of the fact that it serves that purpose. Not because you agree with them, if that makes sense. But there are obviously stances that you can take. I mean, where you can't. Everybody draws their own lines in different places. I know people have opted not to voice certain content because they feel like it's better suited in the hands of a trans actor or an actor of a different gender, just because of the gender of the characters kind of gender fluid in the story, and they don't feel like it's their place to portray that role. I have certainly passed on a lot of. I've kind of talked about this on previous broadcasts, but I've passed on a lot of voiceover opportunities that I feel like are better suited, or well, not necessarily job opportunities, but a lot of auditions for sure that I feel like are better suited in the hands of an actor of color, because the character is Hispanic or the character is black, or something. You know, I feel like they're drawing the line in different places is hard. I think. And when you're doing something that is when you're playing a character that is somehow politically incorrect for one reason or another, yeah, it can be difficult to come to terms with saying certain things. I kind of look at it as like, you know what, if it's, as long as it's not being portrayed in a positive light, whatever I'm doing that's not, that I don't agree with, I have no problems doing it for the purposes of the story. As long as whatever the character is saying comes off as offensive within the context of the story, I'm on board for it. You know, if they're saying racial slurs that I would never say in real life, but within the context of the story, they're the villain, you know, I'm okay with that. I can get behind that. I can say those racial slurs that I would never say in real life, as long as it is contributing to a narrative where that character is the bad guy. But if it's trying to spin things in a positive light for those things that totally offend me, that I will absolutely not do. I don't know. I hope that answers your question. Have you considered streaming Fire Emblem Echoes at all? Or yeah, I did stream through Fire Emblem Echoes, Milkman Leroy. It took me 2 years. It took me a long time to get through that one. Marvel Future Avengers, that's the one. They put the sub on Disney Plus. Okay, but they didn't put the dub out. The dub has been out somewhere in the world. Stream of Disgaea 5 would be cool. Okay. You like the Huckleberry. Yeah, I'm your Huckleberry. Yeah. Yeah, I like it. Would it be possible for you to say "Go Salamander" in Suo's voice, please? Yeah, sure. Let's. I'll just back up a little bit. It's gonna be loud. Go Salamander! Yeah, that whole show is just shouting at tops, man. Dreidel Wars, the cartoon. That's Beyblade, for those who don't know. You gotta voice the good boys to balance out the bad boys, right? A silent voice using an actual deaf voice actress was a fantastic casting choice. Yeah, I gotta give mad props to NYAV Post. They're a kind of a smaller dubbing studio that puts out a lot of anime dubs and some live action dubs and stuff, and even some original animation. I've worked with them a fair amount. Honestly, I've worked with them more since quarantine started than I ever did before. But they're really great people, and they really take a lot of effort to try and cast appropriately. A silent voice is a great example. They cast a deaf actor to voice a deaf character, which was not an easy task. They did Cannon Busters, I think is the name of the show, for Netflix. An anime that has a whole lot of ethnically diverse characters, and they cast ethnically appropriate for all of them, which, like, especially in the dubbing world, just doesn't happen that often. So I like, they're really good at that, and I applaud their efforts. I wish more studios went that extra mile the way that they do, in terms of giving those niche categories their shot when it's appropriate, and giving them their shot when it's when it's not a diverse character, when it's not a diverse role, giving them equal opportunity to play those characters is great. This is what I mean. There was a game called The Letter where a character used the N slur, but said character was supposed to be a very horrible human being. But you explained it very well. Thank you very much. Okay, I'm glad I answered the question for you, Golden Wage. The dub of Future Avengers is on Disney. Oh, okay, cool. That's awesome. I didn't know that, Steel Neko. I'm gonna have to go check that out. I have Disney Plus. I'm gonna go watch Future Avengers later, see if I can find myself. I wonder if they've put out the whole dub yet. My character's episode may not be in there yet. But I know it's been out because I saw somebody publicly talking about it on the internet, so I don't think I'm overstepping my bounds too much. I don't think I'm going to get in trouble for breaking the rules at this point. I did it like 3 years ago. It's like, it should be, the NDA should be expired by now. Loved it. Thank you, Kyle. Suo is my favorite character of yours. Oh, thank you so much, Surfing Slowbro. Ever caught flag for voicing an unpopular character? Flack. I mean, not really. Like, Shinji Mato is probably the closest it's come. I've had a few people come up to me at conventions and go, "You voice Shinji! I hate you so much!" But like they get the fact that there's a difference between the actor and the character. I think it's easier to see that disconnect in voiceover than it is with on-camera people. Most of the time, I gotta say, this is something that came up recently. Now I don't know because I haven't played through Last of Us Part 2. I don't know what happens, and they tried to keep the spoilers out of it. But Laura Bailey is the voice of Abby, or maybe it's the other character. I don't know. She's one of the main characters in Last of Us Part 2. Like I said, I know nothing about it, and I'm in it. Great. But she's one of the main characters. Abby, okay. One of the main characters in Last of Us Part 2, and she got a lot of really hateful messages directed at her for stuff that happens in the story. Which is like, what? That doesn't even make sense. The actor doesn't control where the story goes. That's the creator's choices. Also, and like, there is a difference between the actor and the character. Like, you gotta recognize that disconnect. And if you don't agree with story choices, like, that's fine. That's all well and good. You can dislike where the story goes, but A, don't blame the actor, and B, don't turn that into, like, violent hate for anybody involved in the creative process just because they chose to do something with their story that you didn't agree with. You don't like it, go create your own content that you like better. Like, that's just not cool, man. I appreciate passionate fandom. I do. I really, really do. And I can understand if you're not happy with creative decisions. But you cannot get violent with it. That's so not cool. That's like, yeah, and there's a difference, I was not happy with the direction that they went in the last season of Game of Thrones. But, I mean, honestly, I wasn't that happy with the last Star Wars movie either. And I'm a big Star Wars fan. I didn't turn that into violent hate for Disney or for J.J. Abrams for making those casting decisions or making those story decisions, let alone the actors that portrayed the characters that did stuff that didn't make sense in my mind. Like, I don't, that's not cool, I get disagreeing with creative story choices, but it's not your place. It's their story. They can do what they want with it, Anyway. For example, even if you hate Aoba or Rio, you're not them, and you have nothing to do with them being like that. Yeah, exactly. Honestly, I get a little disturbed by how many people sympathize with Rio from Devilman, because he is like the epitome of villain, and it's, yeah.
surprising to me how many people love that character in spite of the fact that he's the bad guy. This is reminding me of Jake Lloyd and Kelly Marie Tran. Yeah, exactly. They got so much dislike, and it's not their fault. It's not their call if you don't like their characters. That's just not cool. Okay, I think with Laura Bailey and Abby Rose and Kelly Marie Tran, there's also the overlap of fandom hate and sexism/racism. You're exactly right. There is absolutely, yeah. That's a comment that came up when I chimed in on that Twitter discussion about Laura Bailey. Somebody I know responded to the tweet that I made about it, saying that sucks and I'm sorry that you have to deal with this kind of thing. And I was like, honestly, dude, I don't. I'm a straight white dude. This doesn't happen to me. And it's an injustice that is not fair at all. When I play characters that people don't like, it's exactly what I'm talking about. People come up to me and they'll be like, dude, I hated you in that role. You were so great. You know? Like they understand like that degree of separation for some reason. But and maybe that's just because of the fact that I'm a straight white dude, the people who really hate me for it don't feel the courage to come up to me and confront me or something. I don't know. Or even to do it behind, their keyboard warrior stuff. Well, actually, I do have an example of that, but it's different. And I'll talk about that in a second. But women and people of color and LGBTQ plus people, they have to deal with this vitriol that I don't have to, and it's not fair, and I hate it. It drives me crazy. But yeah, sexism and racism is absolutely a part. That is absolutely a factor in why that kind of shit happens, and it makes me angry. And I'm sorry, I'm swearing. I do have one example though. Now that I've talked around it, I thought of one where somebody tweeted me. Somebody had the stones to tag me in a tweet where they didn't like something I did. And that was Psyche K on Netflix, because I replaced the original actor. That was not my decision. Honestly, if it had been my decision, I would have kept the original cast across the board. But rights changed hands from Funimation to Netflix for reasons I don't know. That's above my pay grade. If I had a hunch, I would say that Funimation purchased the rights for the first 2 seasons. They dubbed the first season, they put it out, and it did not get the fan response that they wanted from it, so they never bothered to dub the second season. And Netflix decided to pick up the rights for season 3, and because of the fact that Netflix produces all of their dubs with studios that are based in Los Angeles, and because of the fact that honestly Funimation can be kind of not cool to their actors if they try to cross lines on franchises like that when they change hands. They decided that they didn't want to keep the original cast at all. There were a couple of actors in the original cast who have since relocated to Los Angeles who could have been brought on, but the decision was made, again, far above my pay grade, that since they couldn't bring back the whole cast, it didn't make sense to bring back some of it. So they decided to completely recast it. And in the case of the character of Psyche, I was given the directive of, go watch some of the original stuff, get familiar with what he did with it, just so we can kind of sort of honor it, but we're going to do our own thing with it. So that was the creative decision that happened. Somebody on Twitter did not agree with that creative decision and tweeted at me and said that I ruined the show because of the fact that I replaced the original actor. And you know what? I understand that. I do. At least he didn't. I get that he tweeted me with hate. It wasn't cool. I didn't like it. But at least he didn't tweet me with death threats. That's the thing that's different in my case. I get very occasionally somebody who's not happy with something I did and they go, I hate you. You ruined something I love. But they don't go, I'm going to kill you for ruining the thing I loved. That's the difference. And I'm a lot less frightened of that, of people who just don't like something I did, than I am of people who are trying to say that they want me dead over it, you know? And that's the difference between being a straight white guy and being a woman or being a person of color or being LGBTQ. Who was actually happy with the last season of Game of Thrones? Yeah, right? It's hard to tell whenever someone's hating or trolling or if it's genuine now. Yeah, sometimes it is hard to tell. The same happened. Oh, wait, hold on. I agree, and I'm a guy who really doesn't like the Return of the Revenge of the Sith. Yeah. The same happened here in Germany, just in visual acting, where we have a guy playing a massive evil character. Actor got ambushed on the street one day with people referring to him by his character name. It's bananas to me. And like as society has gotten closer to like celebrities and stuff, like we've started, you know, for better or worse, paparazzi are a thing. Like we follow celebrities' personal lives way closer than we ever used to back in the olden days, where they were just the character that they played on screen. Now you go and watch a movie because Tom Cruise is in it, because you want to watch Tom Cruise do Tom Cruise stuff or whatever. So like we've gotten to this point where society, by and large, at least in America, has kind of seen that disconnect between the actor and the character that they're playing. So it's way more invasive for their privacy, but at least there's less examples of actors being blamed for bad shit their characters do. But it still happens. I mean, the guy that played Joffrey on Game of Thrones retired from acting because he got so much crap for being such a shit on that show. He did a fantastic job in that role. I hated him, but I hated his character. I didn't hate him, the human. Like, it still happens every now and then. Ahmed Best, who played Jar Jar, got a lot of hate. Yeah, man, Ahmed Best is... He got some of the worst of it, for sure. And some of that had to do with cultural implications, because some black people felt like he was doing an Uncle Tom stereotype in the role. So I guess I kind of can, like, I mean, I can't relate. I don't know what living that life is like. So maybe I can understand that criticism, maybe. But the vast majority of that hatred just came from people not liking the character. And that's not cool. That's not cool, man. Regardless of whether or not you agree with the story, you really have to give props to the actors and voice actors for their delivery of the story. There's a bunch of games that I didn't like, but I love the actors involved because they delivered it to the best of their abilities. Thank you, Milkman. Keyboard Warriors, yeah. Someone call Sora Keyboard Warrior. Nice. Passion is different from toxic entitlement. It feels more like reactionaries. The game industry is perhaps going through a shift in what narratives that are focused on. Yeah. Let Kyle swear. Let Kyle say fuck. Nice. Thanks, guys. Which show? What? I don't know what that question's in relation to, Bubba Mustafa, because I took too long to catch up to the chat. Sorry. This is another example. Racism, sexism, homophobia, and transphobia being massive problems in itself. People like to forget that there is an order to production, too, because those on the higher spectrum of production are not the same people who voice or draw. Yeah, that's a fact. It's cool. That's a cool sword in the back. Yeah, that's 9S's sword. Cruel Blood Oath. Fan made that for me and mailed it to me. Friggin' cool. Coolest thing I've ever gotten from a fan, by far. Would you say this is partially caused by social media? I think social media is one of the worst things that's ever happened to society, honestly. I use it daily. I use it almost hourly. I find myself scrolling through Facebook for no reason at all, just because I'm bored and I got idle hands and I just want to look at stuff. And sometimes I get useful information out of it. Most of the time it's garbage. Sometimes it sets me on edge because I see something that somebody has posted that I don't agree with, and it makes me angry. And I've gotten into all kinds of digital fights on Facebook comment threads with people that I disagree with that will never be convinced by anything that I have to say. But I feel like the reason that they feel so passionately about these things is because of social media in the first place. Because they're getting gross misinformation, and they live in this echo chamber of their social media bubble, just like I do, where they see their own viewpoint repeated over and over and over again, and it's not healthy. I hate it, I despise it, and if there were not a couple of little perks behind it, like for example, the voice acting community has used Facebook a lot to improve working conditions for voice actors, and to unionize some work that has been like anime that has been historically almost entirely non-union. Now all Netflix dubs are on a union contract, and that is in large part due to organizing that we managed to do using Facebook. So there are a couple of little things that social media has done that have made life better, but there are so many things that it has done that have led to society to be in the state that it is now. Honestly, I think we can point the finger at Facebook and Twitter for the cause of and solution to all of life's problems. You know, they've caused all kinds of issues that we now deal with, and they've solved a couple other ones for sure. It's nice to be able to keep in touch with people, but there have just been so many side effects from gross mismanagement that I wish we could walk back somehow. But that's the world that we live in. Yeah. So anyway, I think in a roundabout way, yes, I think that vitriol that you see from people who really, really hate something enough to start sending death threats to the actors that had a small part in creating it. Yeah, I think that has to do that's because of social media in a lot of ways. Yeah. In the old days, you wouldn't have seen those death threats unless you ran into those people on the street. And in terms of voice actors, you never would have seen it because they wouldn't know what you looked like. I came for the fandom but stayed for the content. Oh, thanks. Which show did you get the hate on Twitter for replacing an actor in the newer version of Psyche K? I talked about that a little bit. Psyche K was the example that I was referring to. Sorry, I thought I said that. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I breezed past it a little too fast. Artists rely super hard on social media to be able to make a living, but at the same time, there's a horrible side to social media. Yeah, I can't delete Twitter because it's how I interact with fans. I mean, Twitch is really my favorite way to interact with fans for sure. It feels a lot more hands-on, a lot more immediate, and Twitter is far less egregious, I think, in the harm that it's done than Facebook. But it's also, like, it has done some harm, mostly just because of the fact that they've been so hands-off with moderation, with a lot of stuff. Like, there's a guy that's been trolling voice actors for a decade now by creating fake accounts using almost identical Twitter handles and replicating their profile pictures, and then going and replying to tweets from other voice actors and from casting directors and stuff with pictures of butts. We call him Butts Guy, and he mostly targets women. In fact, almost exclusively targets women. Sometimes he'll create a couple different accounts and get them talking to each other, just trying to cause trouble. And Twitter rarely does anything. Occasionally they will ban one of the accounts, but they've never gone far enough to ban his IP address to keep him from creating more accounts. That's just one small, that's a minute example that has almost no impact. But there's examples of politicians and you know, world leaders that are posting racist, hateful crap, trying to incite violence. And Twitter has done almost nothing across the board for a long, long time. So, they're at fault for some stuff just because of the fact that they haven't done anything to stop it. Facebook is at fault for other problems on top of lack of moderation, because they've created these echo chambers, and they've through their algorithms and stuff, where you don't see anything unless it's a like-minded view. Even if it's somebody on your friends list, you practically don't see anything they post if it's something that you don't engage with, or whatever. And all of the Facebook groups have contributed to that whole echo chamber stuff. Yeah, Kira has talked about it a lot, because Kira's been the victim of Butts Guy a lot. He's targeted her a lot in the past. But he targets a lot of female voice actors, usually anime voice actors, but yeah, he's a dick. And it's why we lobby so hard for Twitter to give us all verified check marks, and it seems very arbitrary when they decide which public personas they give those verified check marks to. It is a weird hobby, Emil. And Facebook has been part of other problems, and anyway, yeah. So that's why I hate social media, and it is a part of my life almost all the time. Like, probably every couple of hours, social media is a part of my daily life. Whenever you are in charge of a space where people socialize, you have to moderate. Social media platforms kind of pretend to not see the need. Yeah, I think you're right, Eric's. I think you're exactly right with that. But I honestly, I mean, maybe that points to the human condition, because there have been plenty of other social media platforms that have come and gone over the years, and none of them have taken off the way that Facebook and Twitter and Instagram have. And maybe that's because of the fact that there's no moderation. You know, maybe it's just like people gravitate towards the places where they can go say whatever the fuck they want, regardless of, because they know there's no consequences. Yeah, I don't know. Probably need a little bit more regulation at a government level, honestly. I mean, at this point, I don't know what you can do to fix it, because it's been a part of our lives for so long. Are you going to shut them down entirely? No, you can't do that. And I mean, we do use them for their positive aspects all the time. So I don't know. It's a conundrum for sure. It's the thing with developing technology. It's always like, you got to take the good along with the bad. Hey, you know what? I was saying an hour ago that I was probably going to wrap things up, and I got onto my soapbox a little bit and started diatribing. I appreciate you guys hanging out and talking with me, though. It's been a blast. I love chatting with my fans. I'm not super active in your community, but gotta say it's one of the most chill and fun I've interacted with you. Well, I'm glad that you were here, Hugh. I used to do short bursts of Q&A after every stream, and I haven't done it in a while, and I kind of like it. I need to get back in the habit of doing it. It's a lot of fun. Okay, so that is, I'm gonna wrap things up here. I appreciate you guys being here. I really do. I'm glad that I got the chance to chat with you. I'm glad that you stuck with me on the ride through Drakengard 3. The highs, the lows, the rage, the confusion. Tomorrow, Sunday at 10 a.m. Pacific time, I have my weekly board game show called The Board and Barrel. The Donut Boys, Dustin, the Eric, and mostly Eric, join me to play board games. Right now, we are working our way through a Clank Legacy campaign. We are moving into game number 6 in our Clank Legacy campaign, I think, this week, out of 10. So we've been sticking with that game for a while. We'll be sticking with it a little bit longer. Once we're done with the campaign, we'll move on to other board games. I love the show. I hope you guys come and tune in. I know it's kind of a niche thing compared to these kinds of broadcasts, but it's a lot of fun. The guys are great co-hosts, and it's a very interactive show with the chat. We're always keeping an eye on what you guys are saying. You guys can contribute to what happens to us or for us in the game through some interactive elements that we've added. And we've even got bingo cards now for you to play your own bingo game as you watch the show, based on stuff that happens in the broadcast. So I hope you tune in 10 a.m. Pacific time right here on twitch.tv/Kyle McCarley every Sunday, The Board and Barrel. On Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time, that same group of guys and I play video games together in a show that we have added since the pandemic went into effect. We call it the Co-op Quarren Stream because we usually play co-op-ish video games. I don't know what we're playing this week. Last week we played Dead by Daylight. It was a lot of fun. It was in-house Dead by Daylight shenanigans. We were all really bad at being survivors. And varying degrees of bad at being killers. So it's a lot of fun. It's a very casual stream, not nearly as interactive because we're busy playing the game, so we don't have quite as much time to look at the chat. And obviously every Saturday at noon Pacific, I play games pertaining to my voice acting career. I think I have settled in on God Eater 3 as the next game I'm going to be playing now that we're done with Drakengard 3. I voice Zeke in that game. And I've only done one stream so far, so if you missed that VOD, I mean, you can go check it out now. It's here on the Twitch channel. It's on my YouTube channel. So you can go find that VOD and catch up before we start it next week, or you can just come in and you're not missing much is the point. That'll be next Saturday at noon Pacific time, God Eater 3. And that's it. That's all I have. Sorry, I've been talking for a whole long time. It's been like 2 hours of just talking to you guys, which is great. I love this. I need to do this more often. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Stick around. We will be doing a raid as soon as I sign off. I don't know who it'll be. In fact, you know what? Let me pull up Twitch, see who's on right now, so I can tell you who we're raiding before we go. Let's see who's on. No, stop. Don't make noises. Shh, no. Looking to see if anybody's got any suggestions. I don't see any. So, I think we are going to raid Michelle Knotts, a fellow voice actor. She is currently playing Super Smash Brothers with Alejandro Saab and Kyle Phillips. A couple more voice actors. Yeah, that's who we're gonna raid. All right, I think Michelle is from Pokemon. I don't remember who her character is, but she's been in Pokemon for a long time. So let's go. Oh wait, did I just realize that my camera has been the wrong aspect ratio all this time? No, okay, I'm good. Anyway. Jessie. Yes, that's who she voices in Pokemon. So anyway, that's who we're gonna raid. So, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!